Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Anime Talk Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Anime Talk Show. I'm Dion.
And I'm Chris.
And we are back with another week of anime. So, for those of you unfamiliar with the show, what we do here is we watch a predetermined number of anime per week. Specifically, at the moment, we are currently watching Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun, or 2 episodes a week, Darwin's Game, 2 episodes a week, No Good's Life, 2 episodes a week, and ReZero the Director's Cut, 1 episode a week, because that is technically 2 episodes rolled into 1. So yes, we watch those shows every week, then we come back here and we discuss our thoughts on what happened in the show. We go fully into spoilers, and we don't really analyze per se, hence why we've redubbed it the Anime Talk Show, as opposed to the Anime Review Show, like the show of old, if any of you actually remember that.
I've been meaning to make those live again, to be honest. I keep meaning to go in the back end and making a load of our old stuff live, but yeah.
Yeah, take your time. We're in the slow process of reviving our channel. It's no need to rush. But yes, no, and this is due to the number of episodes we're currently covering, because we started this mid-season of brain work, the anime winter season 2020. We're currently catching up on shows, so and I believe the new season just started as well. So we're going to be a tiny bit behind on that when we get to that, but we shouldn't be too far behind. We should actually be able to catch up in the next season. So this is a long-form podcast, and as I say every week, if you have things to do, such as chores, a long drive, you want to play games, like this is a level you've been stuck on for ages, go do that now, because we're going to be here for the whole time.
Stuff like being stuck in a quarantine and having nothing better to do. This is the podcast for you.
Yes, we are going to take up a good 2 hours if last week's podcast is anything to go by, 2.5 hours of your time. There are timestamps below for you to skip to particular episodes of these shows, so if you don't wish to have spoilers of certain shows or certain episodes, then you can just skip over those. But again, we're going to be talking full in-depth spoilers anyway, so I'll be highly surprised if you haven't seen the shows already. And yeah, I think that about covers everything before we get into the actual shows themselves, unless you're going to think of anything I've missed, Krishna?
No, I just had a vivid flashback to a nightmare I had last night, though, that I started an Audacity recording and it was in, like, mono instead of stereo. And then I had, like, a little, like, panic attack there. I was like, is this in stereo? And then I looked at yes, it is, Christopher.
Well, I guess that's a good sign, maybe, that you're getting back into the...
I'm dreaming about YouTube, so I'm sure that means something.
You know, we'll take it in a positive light. We need all the positive lights we can get at the moment during this annoying time. I was saying to Chris before the podcast started, I'm going insane, because I'm due to being made unemployed just before this pandemic hit. I have nothing to do all day. So I've just sat here going, nah. Days like this, though, relieve such annoyances when I can just sit down and watch anime all day. That one time a week I get to do this. It's nice.
Maybe we should convert all this pandemic energy into just non-stop recording sessions.
I mean, to be fair, you and I are free almost around the clock. We could, if we had stuff to do.
I'm willing and able. Well, able might be a strong word. I have maybe no talent at any of this, but I'm willing. I'm here.
You're willing to learn and to try. That is the point. Now, I still need to try to determine how I'm going to do my review show stuff. But anyway, that's a talk for another time. That's after the show. So, that was a bit loud of me. So, first show of the week is going to be Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun episodes 7 and 8. And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on what happened immediately, but I'm sure I'll swiftly remember as I read these notes. Because, I said, I remember feeling a bit depressed this week.
I remember you'll have to remind me on the detail. I remember largely what happened, but today's been a bit of a foggy brain day, so you're gonna have to remind me on the detail.
It's fine. I swapped. I'm hoping I haven't actually made my notes longer than normal, but I swapped from my A3 notebook, which is pretty much dead, to my A4 notebook. So I have the notes here, and I'm really hoping I haven't gone into too much detail. Otherwise, it's going to be even longer than normal. So. Bound, Episode 7. We open with Ko and Yashiro cleaning the bathroom, and Hanako comments that Yashiro has been acting strange lately, no longer complaining or looking at Hanako. This is after last week's episode, where she finally learnt about Hanako's real life. What do you call it? Life before death. There we go.
A little about his life. His actual
Yuki
life,
Amane.
not his ghost life.
So yeah, she's still feeling a bit odd about that. We learn about why later. After the OP, we see Yashiro can't... Oh, sorry, we learn that Yashiro can't look Hanako in the eyes after seeing his past, and later Ko visits her while she's tending to the field and asks for a favour, the favour being making donuts, I assumed at this point for Hanako, although he doesn't admit it.
I mean, the only time donuts have ever come up so far is in relation to Hanako, so...
Exactly.
I was just like, yeah, no, he's making donuts for Hanako.
Just being coy about it. Can't be seen being nice to a ghost, after all.
And also, does he have a little bit of a crush on our dear Yashiro?
Oh, just maybe.
I ship it, let's go.
I mean, I ship it as well. These two are adorable together. But yeah, as we see his previous failed attempts, or what at this point in time we assume is his previous failed attempts, and little Yosei, I like the Yosei. Again, you commented it before, but I like the snarkiness. So they were just like, "What is it? It's poison."
I enjoy the cuteness juxtaposed with their bitchiness. I like bitchiness.
That, and they weren't exactly wrong. One of them was lying there, seemingly almost dead. But yes, so here is where we get a nice moment between Ko and Yashiro. This is where they a bit of a crush, as he helps her with her, what do you call it? I'm going to call it stirring technique, because I can't remember baking terms right now. Which is a bit odd, considering we've seen his failed attempts, so it's like, how do you know how to do this?
I mean, from his flustered nature, I assumed he probably knew how to make donuts. I thought it was all some sort of attempt to get her on a date. It kind of was, but it was also to cheer up Hanako, I guess. Or patch up their friendship, anyway.
Yeah, it was... I wouldn't necessarily say a date, but definitely just to, get a bit closer with Yashiro and to help her and Hanako out. Because after that, he says to her, I'll happily listen to any problems you have. And so she explains what she saw about Hanako's past. And after that, I like the fact that only now, because after this, she says this out loud, it's like, only now has she actually clicked that he was once alive, he is now dead, and he killed someone. I need to think about this properly. It's like, it's a bit late for that, isn't it, Yashiro? Which he even says later on as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it clicked a bit late for her, to be honest. She had all the facts, she just never put them together, I guess, in her head. Or at least never came to the realization what it meant to her specifically.
I was going to say, I don't think she ever, sat down and thought about it. She was just kind of like, well, this is my life now. And then it just clicked. But no, yeah, so we got a bit of a funny realization there, and but she's also she's a bit scared of him, but she also still wants to get to know him better, and if she can, help him in some way. And Ko's like, I'll help you. That's the long and short of it, really. He's just like, I'll be there to help you along with it.
I mean, he also couched it in needing to know whether to exercise it, or was that last week? I can't remember. Or was that, it's just
he did mention it kind of both weeks, I think.
He's trying to get to know Hanako a bit more so he can decide whether he wants to exercise him or not.
But yeah, no. And then Ko's brother arrives, whose name I still can't remember. I think it's Teru, something like that. And is a bit confused when he arrives, and he's like, "Oh, why are you cooking with Yashiro?" He's like, "Wait, why? He's not bad at cooking. He's great." He just gets a donut shoved in his face multiple times, which I actually found quite funny.
I like this whole sequence.
But no, yeah. So Ko basically hurries Yashiro out the room, be like, "Yeah, go take the donuts to Hanako." Meanwhile, his brother's like, "Hey, you do all the housework at home. What the fuck are you on about? Bad at cooking." And he also says something about just monitoring the situation for now, which I think he said previously, so I don't know why he said it again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his brother's really antsy about getting those demons exercised.
No, he seems to be... Sorry, go on.
He's making excuses, I guess, why he's not done it yet. When the real reason is he just likes Hanako.
You know?
You big softy.
Discord has died. Good to know. Oh, okay. So you can still hear me.
Well...
Oh, there we are.
Oh, hello.
Hello. You're
There
back.
we go. Well, my mic was still working, because according to Discord and also Audacity, it was picking me up, so... I don't know what happened there, but I can hear you, yes.
It's not on your end. I told you this is what's been happening when we've been recording the podcast. For some reason, my Discord will just die, and I'll hear bits and pieces of what you're saying, but like a millisecond, so I can't ever get a full sentence. Where were we? Sorry. We were talking about Cole's brother.
Yes, we were, I do believe. Can't remember what I was saying about it, but we were talking about that, I do believe.
He was just saying about how he's monitoring the situation. He'll monitor the situation for now, and he gives like one of the little Yosei-sans a suspicious look, which I can't remember if immediately after, or I think it was immediately after the little Yosei-san like goes off to the green-haired girl who we saw before, whom I believe her name is Sakura. I can't quite remember. I didn't note it down.
I can't remember either.
And she just like makes another vague comment being like, good, so it's all set up. And then try to keep track of my notes. Then we cut to Hanako, who is delighted to receive the donuts, and is, he seems to be back to his normal self, and he's very, very chipper that Yashiro seems to be back to her normal self.
Can he eat donuts as a ghost?
I was wondering this.
Like, you can pick them up. Can he eat them? He was very happy to have them, so maybe he can, but...
I assume so, only because we've seen the little Yosei-sans eat stuff before.
Are they ghosts, though? Those are like spirits, right? Like yokai.
Apparitions, yeah.
He's a literal human ghost. But that's yokai lore again. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
I assume it all works in the same, similar manner, at least. But no, I did actually have the same thought. I was just like, would he even be able to eat them? Because it'll be pretty, disheartening if he got them. It was like, yay! It was like, oh, what am I supposed to do with it?
You can look at the donuts, smell the donuts, but you can never experience the donut.
That's going to be like one of the worst forms of torture. Give you your favourite food and you not be able to eat it. Just sat there. But yes, just as they are about to start eating, the black crane, which we saw from a few episodes back, I think it was 3 episodes ago now, reappears again, and when Hanako slices it, it is revealed to be the other Hanako, the dark Hanako.
Which everyone seems to be able to... Well, I guess we can tell them apart because of the cheek thing, but everyone else seems very quick to tell them apart. I mean, I'm like, he looks exactly like Hanako. There's no difference.
Like, they're basically identical twins, which I'm assuming, because they make a point of this. So after they have a brief confrontation, and then Yashiro quickly kind of fends him off by splashing him with boiling coffee, which I was just like, that worked. Okay.
I assumed she had some sort of yokai battling knowledge, there, because it worked very well. It was the exact thing she needed to get rid of that ghost.
No, yeah, I was very surprised. I was just like, I mean, fair play, Yashiro, not just sitting there watching the situation, but I feel like that shouldn't have worked. But whatever. we'll let it slide. One odd thing is not enough to ruin the rest. And we see Hanako in quite the state. He actually looked kind of shocked and scared for first time ever. Even kind of for some reason, this is going to sound weird when I say it, but he pounces on Yashiro, and then he's like, sorry, I'm just gonna go now. And yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. Don't think anything could ever get this man's spirits down. No pun intended.
When you're confronted with the literal victim of your murderings, maybe that's how that works.
So, I can't remember. I think it's in this episode. When other Hanako returns to green-haired girl and the boy helping her out, they refer to him as his brother, and they look exactly the same. Are we assuming that he's actually his identical twin, and that's who he killed? Because they keep saying that's the person he killed.
It could be, or it could be less literal. It could be he killed himself and then he split in two or something, and that's the other part of him, or something along those lines. I mean, in my head that makes sense because they kind of have linked powers as well. But
yeah.
I don't know. It could be either one. I mean, I guess that would work for twins as well. Sort of logic.
It works either way. The only reason I assume it's actually his identical twins because we know Hanako's name is Yugi Amane, and when he confronts him next episode, I won't actually go to details yet, but he calls him Tsukasa, which I assume was his real world name as well. That's my only reasoning for thinking it's two different people. Otherwise, because last week I was also on board the I assume he killed himself train due to what was presented to us.
Well, it's a lot less sad if he didn't kill himself. So this will happen.
True. I guess we'll find out as we go.
There's still also room for him to have killed his brother and then kill himself. So then that could be extra sad. But maybe his brother was one beating him up when he was little, and then he took it out on him.
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm very curious to see how this goes, because there's only 4 episodes left, keep in mind as well, because this is a 12-episode season. So I'm sure you'll be happy to hear No Gun's Life is also only 12 episodes, so we're nearly there through that one.
I can stick it out with No Gun's Life. I think I will get to No Gun's Life when we get to No Gun's Life.
But yes, other Hanako returns to Greenhead Girl, who confirms that they are the one changing rumors, and begin to do so again. Ko encounters the new rumor, I assumed at this point, and I was right, straight away, and captures it. Yashiro and Hanako are in the bathroom, acting like nothing happened, and then Ko arrives with the captured spirit being like, hey, I don't want to exercise it immediately anymore. I've kind of stopped doing that, / I'm not very good at it, so help me.
He's doing some humane exorcisms. The sort of exorcisms that if you'd asked me about exorcisms before I watched anime, I'd been like, oh, exorcisms, it's where you go and resolve ghost problems and they get to go. Or you draw a circle on the ground and force them to go, I guess. But in this world, they just we electrify them with sticks until they disintegrate. that's exorcism in Japan.
Or in Blue Exorcist, where you just fight them.
Yeah, you just stab them till they go away. Which is cool. I like stabbing things.
Oh, it's definitely cool. But, I want a Blue Exorcist Season 3, but I highly doubt it's going to happen.
The way I think of exorcism is holy water across, and then you go, begone, evil spirit, and then it goes no. And then you have to work out some sort of puzzle or something to get rid of it. But that's my Western exorcisms for you. A lot less cool, to be honest.
We were at the end of the episode. Ko starts talking to the ghost because Hanako basically tells him, get rid of the ghost's regrets, and it should disappear, maybe. And if not, I'll deal with it. He ungags the ghost, and the ghost just hurls a shit ton of insults at him. And that's the end of episode 7.
Was the ghost in the Japanese version talking about porn a lot? And
yes.
And still, okay,
and calling him a pervert.
Yes, I found this ghost's voice very annoying until it calmed the fuck down. I was like, Jesus Christ.
To be fair, Chris, even in the sub, the voice was a bit annoying until they calmed down.
I was like, Jesus Christ, stop shouting, it's wearing my soul away.
We don't need a flashback to Asta, please, no.
Speaking of the dub voices in general, I assume that Funimation has a relatively set cast of actors it brings in, because I recognise 95% of these voices. I'm like, where have I heard all these people before?
Dubbing anime is surprisingly not too huge a thing, so they generally get the people who are good at it and then stick with them, so you'll recognise them from a lot. They've been doing it for a long time as well.
Hanako is Izuku, who is many other people in many other different animes as well. So I'm sure this will keep coming up for me, but...
To be fair, and I can't remember which anime it was this week, but when I was listening to, I think, an outro of some sort, and it was doing the preview for the next week, I'm sure I heard Midoriya's voice as well, but the Japanese voice actors as well. I was like, the fuck? Midoriya? I think it's just a common thing in anime / voice acting in general, really. If you watch enough animated stuff, you'll start to recognise a lot of voice actors.
I'm assuming it's Funimation just likes to work with the same people, which is fair enough when you're doing 25 anime a week, but
right, yes, okay, so that was episode 7. Episode 8 of Toy Bound Hanako-Kun. Unless you got any passing comments on episode 7?
Not really, no. It was a bit of a melancholy episode, but I liked the moments between our what was it, the Exorcist boy, who I can never remember the name of, and Yashiro.
To be fair, this This one isn't the down one. It's episode 8. That's more of
Oh
the
yeah.
downer.
Oh, I know. It gets very sad.
Oh boy. So yeah, let's jump straight into that one. We open by learning the ghost's name, Mitsuba, and it thinks it's something to do with photography. So Ko goes and retrieves its camera from the photography club, and after taking pictures of animals and landscapes for a while, Ko suggests people and offers to be the subject, but it's turned down. And then his friend comes along and sees Ko with the camera, because at this point in time he was like struggling with the ghost for the camera. And explains to him that Mitsuba was actually in their class in first year, but died in an accident. And
I'd feel very shitty.
oh yeah.
I'd feel terrible about this revelation if I was Ko.
To be fair, he didn't exactly look happy after that. He was like, "Oh shit!" But no, he definitely could have. I certainly would have been like, "Oh shit, I am so sorry."
Now I feel like a dick.
Yep. Here's me trying to sort out your problems, and I forgot you were literally in my class a year ago. Fucking hell. But yes, so later, Mitsuba explains that he was bullied a lot in elementary school for being girly, naturally, because when you look at that character design, it's like, you're a girl, I think. And then he speaks, and you're like, nope.
I thought it was a girl until, like, it told me it wasn't. Really? I was like, they could just be using a boy voice actor, I don't know.
Nope, this is the common anime thing of it's a trap. But yes, bullied a lot for being girly / being cocky, and then he tried to get on with everyone in high school, and that resulted in like kind of a plain on the surface a plain personality, which everyone kind of forgot about, which is a story I can kind of relate to, very sadly, and it annoys me.
Being nice gives you nothing to latch onto to hate or like. I guess is the summary of the story.
It's not even that. It's literally the being bullied through primary school and then going into secondary school, being like, right, I'm going to make sure people get on with me, and it just kind of results in a meh. Oh, but yes. So after that, Ko then explains if anyone. Oh, I know. Wait, did I skip it? No, I didn't. Okay. Ko explains then, because he's feeling bad for the guy, that if anyone asks, he'll tell them what he was really like. I do like the way he does it, though. He's, after this kind of depressing moment, he's like, you're a cunt, basically.
You're a
like,
dick.
You're cocky. You're girly.
You're annoying.
Yeah. Just throws a bunch of insults at him. He's like, if anyone asks, that's what I'll tell you were like.
And then they become friends.
They do. It was another nice moment, which is, you know, at this point in time, I'm like, oh, okay, so we had some downers, but, you know, in the end, it seems to be turning out all right. And then they go to leave for the day. Ah, boy, they go to leave for the day. And then other Hanako appears, or as we already know, his name is now Tsukasa, and incapacitates the pair of them. And then when Ko asks, he explains that the Hanako that we know, Yuki, grants wishes for the living. This Hanako grants wishes for the dead. And yeah, even here in my notes I've got, then we see a kind of depressing / creepy scene of them changing the ghost's rumor.
I found this horrifying. I was like, damn, this is terrible.
No, yeah, that was awful. I hated witnessing it, because we just, you know, we got to know this character over this one episode. We liked them. We were appreciating the nice moments between him and Ko. And then this happens, and it's just like, oh, okay. Damn show.
Especially, I don't know, there's something about taking it was such like, not an innocent, well, it wasn't an innocent wish, but like such a like touching wish, I guess, of just wanting to be remembered by your friends, basically, and then turned it into something truly horrifying.
Yep, that truly horrifying being. Now he's a lonely ghost with a broken neck and does the same thing as before, which I never actually said the rumor before, but basically when you're at the shoe locker, a ghost will grab your arm and be like, have you forgotten me? That was literally it. That was literally it before. Now he has a broken neck, and if you don't answer with the ghost's name, he'll break your neck too. And it was kind of horrifying to watch. But right, yes, so horrific transformation process of Mitsuba, which immediately I was just kind of like, I want this ghost to die. Fuck you, Tsukasa, evil Hanako.
It was a horrible way to go.
Nanako.
Why did I say Nanako?
I mean, you were close. You're only one letter off.
Hanako, but Nanako is a character from Persona 4. But anyway, Hanako, it's almost a mercy what he does to this spirit, which is slice it to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a bit depressing, really, because basically after this, Mitsuba attacks Ko, and then very swiftly our Hanako appears, kills Mitsuba, shoves Tsukasa off to the side, has a brief word with him, then Tsukasa vanishes, and then Ko's there like, can you do anything for him? Bring him back? And he's in tears, and Hanako's basically like, yeah, no, this is basically a mercy. There's no future for us when we turn into ghosts. It's almost better that we just get obliterated. And I was like, damn show.
I mean, also not quite true because the ghosts have like self-determination. They have futures. They have things they do. They might be at the mercy of like human rumor, but like Hanako has decided to like help his fellow spirits out. He's decided. He
apparently had a word with God.
Apparently, they have futures, so I feel like it's almost demonstrably untrue. Like you have decision-making capabilities.
True, but do they have the ability to heal from that sort of thing? Because he was punched right through the chest.
Oh, probably not that. But he's like his whole spiel about once you die you are dead, that you have no future anymore. I'm like, false. False.
When you die, when you're dead, then you have no future.
True. That one. True. But when you're just normal dead, you still have a future, apparently, as a ghost.
But in either case, doesn't quite make sense, but still quite the depressing end, because finally, at the end of the episode, we see Ko going through the pictures that Mitsuba took, and one of them was of him after they had their little, we can still be friends even though you're dead thing, and him being all embarrassed, and it was just like, oh. My bonus note for this episode is, I never thought we'd have such a depressing set of episodes in Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun.
Yeah, they were a real downer. I know there's some juicy anime tears that were being spilled by Ko then.
Yep. No, that was... So, that was the end of episode 8 of Toilet-Bound Hanako-Kun, and final thoughts on this depressing week? Holy shit.
Depressing. I felt genuinely sad at the end.
Oh, god damn! No, I hope next week it can uplift us again and not be down the depression train, because I want them to now that this has happened, I kind of want Hanako and the gang to be like, right, okay, these fuckers have crossed the line. We're dealing with this.
Well, we have more defined villains now as well. We look like we know what they want and what they're doing, and. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see our characters built with them. Hopefully they don't, destroy sympathetic ghosts anymore. Because it'll make me sad.
There's 4 episodes left, so if it goes the way I'm picturing it in my head, it's gonna be not like a 4-part finale, but we're definitely gonna start ramping it up a bit in terms of actually dealing with the antagonists for this story. Right, okay, so...
Oh, actually, one side note about the first episode. When she poured that coffee on Evil Hanako, Sasuke, whatever his name is, fuck him, Evil Hanako, Tsukasa, and she got a bit of coffee on her and became fishy.
I saw that.
How does she drink anything without turning into it? Are her insides fish? Does she have fish insides, or is it just the skin that becomes fish?
I'm going to assume it's just the skin until, it's all of her. But I did also like that attention to detail.
She mustn't have had a shower in weeks. She spends all her time cleaning a bathroom and can't shower. It's now that was a horrifying existence.
Yeah, because you'd have to shower every day.
What I was saying is, if you get into the shower, you turn the shower on, you get turned into a fish, but then you can't turn the shower off. So you're just kind of at the bottom of your shower basin, just hanging.
Fuck did she bathe?
That's what I'm saying. It's a living hell. It's a nightmare. She must stink.
That's all. Can she get away with washing one body part at a time? Maybe,
but that's hours worth of showering every day.
It's
carefully wash my arm, then have to dry the arm, wait for it to turn into a human arm again. Okay, next arm. And
Yep.
it would be a whole thing.
Her parents are going to be like, you take a long time in the bathroom nowadays. Are you okay? She's going to be like,
Assuming she has parents. They're not come up yet.
I mean, everything takes place at school, so we
I
haven't ventured to her home as of yet.
It's true. I feel like her first thoughts when she got turned into a fish would have been like, what the hell am I going to tell my family? Now that I'm gone forever, I'm a fish in a bowl. Someone's going to have to tell them something.
Come now, Krishna. Does any anime ever mention people's parents unless they actually go to meet them?
True. I do operate under the assumption that it's just anime logic and nobody has parents.
It's like Darwin's Game, which we're about to get to. I'm just thinking to myself, like, what the fuck are his parents thinking? Because he hasn't been home in weeks.
Maybe it's like it comes up every week, but Yokai Apartment Life. It's a view into. Well, I mean, I guess it's in My Hero as well. It's like a view into, maybe it's a boarding school type situation where
Maybe
you have to pay for the dorms or something. I mean, it's a very common thing in Japanese schools. Seems to be.
Absolutely no idea. It's certainly a thing in anime, but we shan't know about Japan itself. But right, before Discord gives up on me again.
All I was going to say is like, it would be kind of like watching Harry Potter and assuming all British schools were boarding schools, I guess. So maybe not.
No, we can't make any assumptions on Japan until hopefully one day I'll get to go there. Well, once all this blows over and I actually have money.
One day.
But yes, okay, so before Discord dies again, it's died four times in the past half hour.
It must be some sort of interaction between Audacity and Discord. Like, it doesn't happen any other time.
I was going to say, it's the only time it happens, and it's really annoying. So I'm getting very close, because of 4 times in half a fucking hour, to put this on hold, now that we've gotten through a show, to try and figure this out. But we'll see if it holds up or not, because up until now, it's usually been fine during the anime talk show. It's usually when we were recording the podcast that it would fuck up. So we shall see. We'll try and get through Darwin's Game. If it does it more and more, we'll get through Darwin's Game and then just give up for today.
Right on.
Oh, it's going to be a pain in the ass to edit. So yes, depressing episodes of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. Hopefully it gets less depressing as the show goes on, seeing as there's only 4 episodes left. But now on to the next anime of the week, which is Darwin's Game, episodes 6 and 7. Despite having watched all of these today, I'm really struggling to remember what happened to all of them.
Darwin's Game is always a little bit of a struggle to remember what happened in it.
Very true, very true. But okay, so we open with Yuji chasing down the girl from before, and after the OP, we see /learn it's a combination of the boy/girl's powers. She can manipulate water, he can freeze it. We learn something more about this later, but I'll get to that when we get to that.
I'm a little curious about how this whole dynamic works with this app. But,
as am I. It doesn't quite make sense, but yeah, we'll get there. And after a brief game of cat and mouse, the boy hatches a plan and lures Ryuji in with a ringing phone. But when
how
he goes
did he get his phone to ring?
I don't know.
Because we learned there's only one phone, so I don't. I mean, I guess he could have just gone to YouTube and typed in "ringing phone" or something like that. But
I mean, we could go further into the logistics of it. When he was like hiding away from Ryuji, he was texting himself, and if it was only him typing the texts, all the texts would be on one side of the phone. They weren't. They were on 2 sides, implying that someone else was actually using a phone to send text back.
True.
So is there a second phone?
maybe they have 2 phones.
That, or the person really just did not think about this when they wrote it.
The thing is, they could have done it they could have done it in a way that kind of like hinted at what was happening without like breaking the story, because it's not really like a reveal. It's not like we're like bated breath, like, oh, what is the secret? It's like, oh, it's like a split personality body hopping thing. Okay, cool. It's not like a reveal. They reveal it like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they technically reveal it now, because after they catch Ryuji off guard and freeze him, as he goes for like the killing blow, he stops himself. And then we hear the girl's voice come out of him, and we're like, oh, okay. How does that work?
You can wish upon Darwin's Game and get the spirit of your brother inhabiting your body.
I feel like this girl might have been committed to a mental hospital or something beforehand. And Darwin's Game helped her escape, because otherwise it makes goddamn no sense. Unless spirits are just a thing now.
I mean, that is a logical way of looking at it. Maybe she's a schizophrenic, or no, it's not schizophrenic. That's a different thing. Multiple personality disorder, and she was in a mental hospital, or whatever. Although this game is an anime about people who get superpowers from a phone app, so I just kind of accepted that she had the spirits of her dead brother living inside of her for this episode at the very least.
I'm not saying it's completely implausible, but with the information we've been given at this moment in time, it's just kind of like these two things are not like the other.
You put a bit of yokai in this, haven't you?
Just possessing your body again, and the other one's like AR technology taken to an extreme.
Yeah, not exactly congruent. I'll give you that.
But anyway, okay, so yeah, we reveal that it's one person with two personalities. Like we said, she controls water, he controls ice. Then we see Kaname swing his way to Shuka. Sorry, go on.
Oh, it's a good thing that their powers were It was a good thing that their powers were very symbiotic. They worked very well together. She controls water, he controls ice, and they get to swap between it almost at will by the looks of it. Which was good, I guess. Well, it's good for them, their combat ability at any rate.
That came back pretty quickly this time.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I was discussing the benefits of having. I was about to call them quirks. What are they called?
Sigils. I keep wanting to call them quirks as well.
The benefits of having a split personality disorder where both of you have like symbiotic sigils. They work very well together. It's not like he can control water and she has the ability to like cause a windstorm or something. They got ice and water. That's good combat.
Yeah, no, very good practical combo. It would be better if obviously just one personality was required for it, because I feel like living a life of having two personalities in one body is a bit of a pain.
Think of it this way: two personalities, two powers. Apparently, the phone can pick up on that.
True. Assuming that's how it works, we don't know how any of this works. We just know they've been given superpowers.
And as superpowers go, this is the most superpowery of the bunch, I feel. This could fit into like an X-Men. I can imagine an X-Man. I don't know if that's the singular of X-Men, but we'll go with it. Having a split personality, but one personality can freeze and one has water.
To be fair, I can see
that in a comic book.
I feel like we see a few more superpower like X-Men style things next episode as well. We have like the guy who uses telekinesis with his karate, and then the other guy who could just set himself ablaze.
Yeah, we got a lot more superpowery sigils this time. I mean, I guess I'm ignoring the lady who can telekinetically control chains, but that's pretty superpowery too.
But when you see her using it, it kind of looks like she's just wielding a weapon, whereas everyone else, it feels superpowery.
True. Their powers look a lot more flashy in the we can shoot fire out of our body way.
But right, yes. Getting back to the episode, I've already decided, because I gave up in like 2 minutes. We're gonna get through this episode and then stop, and I will try and fix my Discord, because otherwise recording anything in the future is gonna be a pain in the ass for me. So yes, we see Kaname swimming his way to Shuka, and he performs CPR, which that work? I'm very confused, because don't you need chest compressions for CPR?
Yeah,
especially if her lungs are full of water.
Yeah, I thought you needed the chest compressions combined with all the other actions as well to make that work. Then again, I've never been trained in CPR. Also, there's also the fact they're submerged up to their necks in freezing cold water. So, I feel like they'd be dead anyway.
I feel like there should have been more agency, because he does the CPR, it works, and Shuka's really happy that he came for her and gives him like a proper first kiss, and I'm just like, this isn't the time. I'm here shirtless in freezing ice cold water. I'm going to die faster than you. Let's get out.
And she just spent God knows how long drowning. She should feel pretty shit about her body right now.
Yes.
That said, as much as it feels kind of generic to me, as a lot of this show does, but I do like the dynamic of the weird, crazy girlfriend who's not really your girlfriend, but is at the same time anime thing, which I feel happens a lot in anime.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So I can't name you all the examples, but that's probably because there's been too many to count.
I like that dynamic though, so I like this dynamic well enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough. How did you feel about the sudden declaration of why she was playing Darwin's game? Because I still don't know how I feel about that. Like, it's good to know her motivation, but I'm like, only a few episodes ago you were like, I'm not telling you.
I mean, yeah, her random... I guess now she's committed to her weird boyfriend relationship here, but what I'll say about the motivation, it's kind of generic as fuck. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Oh, someone killed my parents and I'm out for revenge. I'm like, that's almost everybody's backstory. We've been doing that with characters since the 1930s.
I think we've been doing that a lot longer. We've been doing that since like the dawn of storytelling.
Someone killed my parents with the weird powers, and now
gonna go on a journey of vengeance.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, all I've got is DC superheroes. I'm like, that's Batman, that's Green Arrow, that's Huntress. In certain versions, that's Superman. It's like, Jesus Christ, everybody has this backstory.
It's like the go-to. It's like, I need a backstory. Someone killed my parents. There we go. I mean, hell, if you want to argue it, technically... Well, actually, no. No, never mind. That's a bad example. Right. Moving on. So yeah, and they both also kind of agree that they want to kill the game's creator, which is, fair enough.
Despite him showing no desire to kill anyone so far. He gets into fights where he's like, this person's out for my blood, I'm going to show them mercy. And then in this scene, he was something like, yeah, no, I want to murder someone. I'm like, okay. Fine, I guess. I've been wanting you to murder this entire time, so carry on.
To me, it makes sense that that's the one person he wants to kill. It's like, great, I got dragged into this game. This game's kind of shite because, I'm on the edge of death every day. Fuck you, whoever made this. So I'll allow him that one as long as he sticks to his, current ideals, but... Considering how episode 7 left off, I'm curious to see where that goes, because episode 7 we finally caught up with where I'd watched the anime up to, I think. So I don't actually... I know nothing going forward from next week onwards.
I want him to throw those ideals out the window and just start gunning people.
Yes, game's creator, and then we briefly cut to Wang and the 8th Clan, some people messing with grenades, whilst Wang also seems to be trying to figure out what's up with the rings and how to win the event as well. Then we cut back to... No, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was talking before. I think your Discord messed up just for a minute there because I was talking before and I think you couldn't hear me. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about Wang for a second, who I think is the leader of the Crazy Eights, right? I was just going to say, I just wanted to talk about his character in general and how I just kind of don't like him. He's just like generic crazy and looks kind of like a snake.
No, yeah, there's not much to this villain. I mean, there's a problem with villains like this because, unfortunately, I think you and I just we have the same thing when it comes to villains, which is if we want them developed more, because we don't like them just being generic crazy guys who out to kill everyone.
Oh, I'm generic and crazy. I'm going to carve your fingers off and put them into this vat of olive oil or whatever it is. I'm like, okay, cool, bruh.
Not only that, but I think it's the over the topness as well, because we discussed this last week when we were talking about the bad guy from No Gun's Life, and I did the suggestion of replacing him with a Grand Moff Tarkin style character, and I'm like, that would be so much more intimidating.
I don't like over the top. Like, it depends. It
can be done right.
You can combine cartoonish and over the top with fun, and have this guy's just not fun. Neither is it in No Gun's Life either. There's nothing really fun about this guy. I mean, I quite like his fighting style, although I could have sworn he set a lady on fire with his sigil at some point.
No, that was I think he used like her. I keep trying to say quirk. Fuck it, they're quirks. He basically used her quirk against her, I think, at some point. Yeah,
because it turns out in this one he like teleports everywhere.
Yes, he's in episode 7. This is skipping ahead a bit, but we learned that he has like a 5-meter teleport, which I do like how. I like how, again, I'm skipping ahead here, but I do like how Ryuji dealt with it. He was just like, as long as I keep 10 meters away and keep shooting at him, he can't get me. Just gotta keep backing up.
I liked the tactical nature of that. It showed that even though Ryuji is just a dude with a gun, he has a little bit of brains behind him.
Yeah. It was a nice little attention to detail. It was like, I just have to think of him as like a guy with a sword who can close a 5-meter gap. I just gotta stay out of those 5 meters.
I even liked in that fight where the Crazy 8 guy was like, it's like he knows he's just out of reach all the time. Like, he does. That's his whole plan. Mr. Crazy Snake Man.
But right, okay, so back to episode 6. We'll get to episode 7. Well, we won't this recording session, but brain work. We cut back to Shuka confronting the girl, whose name is Sui. So we confirm in this conversation that Sui is the girl, and it's actually her body, and her brother is the one who died, but she, like Chris mentioned before, like, made a wish to Darwin's game, and now her brother's personality is just there. It's like, what?
Different voice and everything.
Darwin's game, this makes no sense with what you've established so far. Like, I'm willing to buy a video game that is basically augmented reality and gives you superpowers, but this is literally bringing a personality back from the dead. Like, what?
If I really, really want to be generous to the show, which I'm not, I don't tend to incline to do that. When people die in Darwin's game, they become spirit butterflies and fly away. Maybe
I keep forgetting about that.
Maybe they store the spirit butterflies. Maybe her brother died in some sort of Darwin's game related tomfoolery, and like his spirit butterfly was stored somewhere, and then she somehow got access to the spirit butterfly. I don't know. I'm stretching, okay? I'm giving the show a lot of rope.
It's like, we don't want to dislike you, show, because you're okay enough. But you're stretching it. You're stretching that rope. But yeah, okay, so we get that explanation, and also we learn that Sui's just like, yeah, no, I don't like fighting. I don't want to fight anymore. So I'm just gonna go do my own thing. And then Shuka's like, join our clan. I'll forgive you this time, but just only because you got me a kiss from Kaname. I was like, okay, I can actually believe Shuka saying something like that.
Yeah, and now they have a little slave girl that can do their washing for them.
She helps them fight as well.
Well, her brother helps them fight, I guess.
She has to do the water thing first, though.
True. I imagine she was cajoled into that. Had to do a lot of like, now come on, do it. And she's like, no. I'm like, do it. I'm like, okay then.
But yeah, okay, so that happens, and then this whole time, Brain work. Kaname, that's his name, has been texting Rain this whole time, and after a few more texts from Rain, he's like, Shuka, drop the rings. We're gonna actually, try and clear the game so that everyone gets to live. At least everyone who's still alive, anyway. Which makes sense for him. And it also kind of makes sense to ditch the rings, because, otherwise people could track you. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to keep him, just in case.
I want money.
Well, not even the money. It's like, what if you fail?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember the exact conditions, but, like, don't you survive if you have rings? So,
if the game isn't cleared, then those of people with 3 rings, so you have to have 3 rings for each person, they get to live. So I would have questioned it at least. I would have been like, Kaname, what if we don't succeed?
I'm glad you're very confident in ours. I'm glad you're very confident in your plans and abilities, but what if we fail? I want to live.
Yes, okay, so we figured out where the treasure is, and they're going to go try and deal with that. Back at the hotel, we see the siege is about to begin, and Rain plans on retreating, whilst DeFlora says he wants to stay, because he wants to fight them all off and get the rings, and he wants to keep a hold of the diamond ring that he's got, which I imagine is worth the most money. I can't remember the values that we were shown before, because he wants to use the money for his daughter's heart condition.
I'm very much on Rain's wavelength here. I was like, cool, that's cool and all. Right, I'm very glad that you want to get the money to your daughter, but if you're dead,
the
money ain't going to get to her.
It's like, noble sacrifice. Thank you for holding them off for me. But, you're not helping your daughter when you're dead. It's kind of pointless, really. But he stays. To be fair, we knew he wasn't going to survive because he's not even in the OP.
Yeah, he's not in the opening. But I liked him, and I also, I kind of wished he survived. Because he also put up a cool final fight.
He did. He had put up a cool final fight. And imagine having that guy's fucking quirk on your team. And I'm calling them quirks now because I keep forgetting it.
I especially liked where like they were outside the hotel and looked back and the hotel was just like exploding everywhere. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's
how
a question.
How are you going to explain this to anyone when they get back to work tomorrow? But
that is what I was about to bring up, because we'll quickly address the fight and then we'll get to that point, because I do actually want to discuss that. Because I was laughing so much.
Not only how are you going to explain that to people when they get back to work tomorrow? What do they think? Shibuya is a city.
Government authorities are definitely going to look into that.
What happens a mile away? Because, like, you're in the middle of bloody Tokyo. Like, the hotel's going up with nuclear fire. The whole thing's it's causing an earthquake. Like, people, like, miles away will see this.
We'll get to it, Chris. Let's discuss the cool fight beforehand. Oh, so yeah, okay. Rain retreats. The florist stays. The 8th clan breach the hotel. One guy, his name is Sig, one of the higher-ups of the 8th. He's the guy who can envelop his body in flames, so he's kind of like the florist's actual enemy. He goes up first to scout out. Meanwhile, I kind of like this attention to detail. It's like, as he goes up, the lift starts coming down.
It's cool. I like the attention to detail. I kind of think the 8th clan should have been like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, the elevators weren't moving before.
Yeah, true. But it is a nice, cool little moment though, with the doors open. He's just like, "Hi, boys, you're not going upstairs." and he
proceeds to destroy them.
He just demolishes all of them. Like one of them goes like full on like World War II Japanese like banzai, has a grenade in his face, and just like, "Fuck you, we'll both go out," and he still wipes them all out. And then yeah, oh shit, no, we won't get to the awesome fight because that's next episode. Shit.
Well, something to look forward to on the next recording session.
Oh. But yeah, no. After the credits, we see Rain successfully escape, and we get an explanation as to what they figured out basically. And the title of the episode is Hardness, and the explanation for that title is basically she couldn't figure out the code until she arranged the gems in order of their I think it's like Mohs rating or something to do literally with their hardness. And when sorted like that, they form coordinates for Shibuya Station, which is where they're all heading to. That is where we leave off episode 6 of Darwin's game. So, final thoughts on this episode before we wrap up.
I mean, just a quick, as someone who's playing Persona 5 Royal right now, spending a lot of time going in and out of Shibuya Station, I was like, hey! Hey! Anyway, I liked this episode. It was as fine as it gets. I don't know, it's very generic on a lot of fronts, but I like the generic. They're generic because they're generally pretty alright to good. So
I'll give you that. I agree. This week these 2 episodes, but for now just this episode in particular. The last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks now. We're on episode 4. Darwin's game's been like, it's okay, but kind of meh. This episode's kind of like, okay, you've ramped it up a bit more. We got some cool action scenes out of it. And you've kind of gone batshit crazy with it, as we will discuss next episode.
And to be honest, I kind of prefer it when it's going batshit crazy. I'm like, when it's toned down, I have a lot of time to think about what exactly is not making sense here. But when everything's just blowing up and people are getting shot and there's fingers in jars and stuff, I'm like, okay, cool. I can just go with it more. I don't have time to think about. I mean, you already don't make much sense, but just lean into it. Lean into it and go.
Yeah, when an anime is dull, it's best to kind of go balls to walls crazy at times, because then the audience could just go, "Oh, okay, this is fun," because it is fun.
I like the fights in the show when they happen. For the most part, when they have cool powers, I don't. When Kaname's fighting, it's just kind of boring. Because he has a gun and he shoots people, and then occasionally be like, "Oh, my gun is 10% cooler." Okay,
if they could do like a Midoriya with him, which they've kind of set up previously with a keen tactical mind, then his fights might get more interesting. But until then, yeah, his actual power on its own is kind of dull. Powerful, depending on how we use it, but dull.
Oh, actually, no, that's next episode. So I just like seeing Shuka fight, is this summary of what I was going to say. I like her weird chain powers.
Fair enough. Right, we shall leave that there. Moving on to episode 7, or at least we will be the next time we record this. I'm not going to do a proper outro, because I'll probably edit this bit out. So, see you shortly for episode 7 of Darwin's Game. Hello, and welcome back. You'll have hardly noticed a transition there, hopefully. But yes, so we are now trying out some new software, at least I am. I'm quickly swapping over to Adobe Audition to see if that fucks with my Discord less.
Assuming it's an interaction between Audacity and Discord and not just your Discord.
Yes, we'll see. But hopefully this fixes the problem, and hopefully we sound top-notch this week, because I've done some fiddling around, and my god, does Adobe Audition have some fancy bells and whistles. Not
to get it down on Audacity, but it is free. And Premiere is not. Not Premiere. Audition isn't. which means it probably has more features.
Yep. So we may all be converted to this soon enough if we all appreciate it. But in the meantime, let us get back to where we left off. So we were just about to discuss episode 7 of Darwin's Game. So I'm just going to read my notes here for the plot. As per usual, we open with Rain giving the florist a rundown of the Eighth's top 2 members to watch out for. One is a karate specialist with some sort of telekinesis ability, and the other one has a rare type of pyrokinesis, which engulfs their entire body in flame.
The natural enemy of someone who uses plants as a weapon.
As stated in the show, which is kind of like, florist, of all the people, why did you stay behind? I know why you stayed behind. You said it last time. You need money, but we also said last time, hey, the money's no good if you're dead.
Like Rain says, gives the reason, like, oh, your daughter wouldn't want you to die somewhere without seeing you again. I'm like, yeah, cool, all that emotions. But if you don't live, how are you going to give your daughter your money? I guess you have a will, but does your Darwin's game points transfer into like will? Can that be transferred in a will? Who knows?
Oh god, that would be awful if the app was transferred to her and she got drawn into Darwin's Game
with her weak heart.
Oh god. Yeah, I was wondering this too. It's like, when you die, does your money just like automatically get cashed and then can it be sent to your relatives? Like, otherwise, this plan makes no sense of yours, florist.
It would be a really bad plan unless, like you said, there's a way to get it out of the game after you're dead.
Yeah, you never know. They might actually elaborate on this at a later date. Our main characters might somehow come across the florist's daughter, and yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to assume the florist gets forgotten from now on.
Oh, probably. But we shall see. So after the OP, we see Rain at Shibuya Station. However, when she goes to explore, she finds Wang and the 8th clan are already there.
One thing I'll say about Rain in this whole sequence, I find her running very amusing. There's something about her, the way she runs in this anime, which gives me joy. It's just like her legs don't move that much and her arms don't move that much. I'm like, you don't look like you're moving fast. And it makes me giggle every time.
It's like, come on, you could run better than that. What are you doing?
Maybe it's a combination of the coat she's wearing and the fact she's like got like that weird, like, well, not weird, she's got a sniper rifle in a box that she's lugging around with them. But yeah, her running amuses me every time.
I like how she just tossed that away, by the way. Like she didn't fire it when she was being chased, she just threw it at them. It's like, that's a sniper rifle. I would keep that.
To be fair, it probably requires a bit of setup time to get out of the box.
Yeah, fair enough, but still, it's just like, I don't know. I'd want to hold on to it, especially with my ability of, knowing where everything is.
I'd have gone in with it out of the box, ready to shoot people.
As soon as I knew that the 8th clan were there, I'd have been like, right, let's unload this thing and get ready for a fight. But yes, so then we cut back to the florist fighting off Sig, because like we said last time, he'd already been down the lift, fought off most of the 8th grunts, and then came back up and was like, hey, your reinforcements aren't coming. And yeah, he gets his ass handed to him quite a bit here. He's constantly on the back foot, because on the back foot, dear God, turning even more northern, back foot.
I thought it sounded kind of like you like a Belgian or something like that. Oh, for sure, on my back foot.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, constantly on the back foot, and just as he's about to spring a trap on him, unfortunately, the other guy appears, whose name I didn't note down, the karate guy of the telekinesis. He kind of comes in flying through the window on the 40th floor, but they do elaborate he could fly with his ability, although it's a bit of a pain in the arse.
I don't understand anime, or I guess specifically this show logic. He's like, I have the ability to focus air on my fist, but also make air barriers that I can fly up. Okay, I guess.
Sounds like he can like solidify / manipulate air. His basically airbending. It sounds like is what his ability is.
Airbending with a specific focus on punching, I guess.
He just incorporated it into his karate. That's what I'm assuming. Anyway, I don't even know I doubt we're going to get any more development out of those two characters, because assuming that the florist's plan worked, so yeah, the karate guy punches the florist into Sig, the fire guy, and he literally punches straight through his chest. He doesn't hit his heart, but he punches straight through his chest. How did you feel about the florist keeping his heart beating temporarily with his power?
I mean, it's very silly, but I'm not sure how the manipulation of plants like transfers into. I can put the plants inside my chest and massage my own heart to keep it going. I'm like, okay, I guess you can do that.
It's certainly an interesting use of the power. The first time around I watched it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, pretty inventive. The second time around, I was like, seems a bit silly. But I'll let it pass, because it's basically anime logic.
Also, how do you have the presence of mind while you're bleeding out to be like, I'll manipulate these plants in a very accurate manner to keep my heart pumping?
Imagine how many times you have to be like compressing your heart a second as well, because your heart doesn't just beat like once or twice a second. Once or twice a minute.
The logistics don't quite add up.
But I thought it was an interesting little thing the first time around, at least. And yeah, so he basically he springs the trap anyway once he gets punched through the chest and wanders off, like we said, maintaining his heart. And then when the enemy catches up with him again, this is what we were referring to last time, and now is where the question comes in. So he uses all the plants at the base of the building, because he's set up like huge colossal plants at the base of the building to tear down all the supports, and the building crumbles all around them, which I thought was fantastic, but at the same time I was watching it and I was just like, so secrecy's out the window.
Yeah, this is going to be heard for miles. People the next day are going to be hearing about this. Like, everyone's going to know the name of this game. This is going to get out. Not only that, before that, in the battle, the whole building was going up like little explosions all over the place. Like, this would be national news. Maybe international news. like the center of Tokyo has turned into a war ground.
We were discussing last time, like, the hotel manager's going to be pissed when, because, Kaname's going around shooting out all the cameras, and there's been firefights within the hotel and stuff, like, cleaning all that up is going to be interesting. And I suggested last time, I was like, well, maybe they have a cleanup crew to come in afterwards, which would have been an interesting addition to the lore of Darwin's game. But no, the hotel is straight up destroyed in this episode, so how the fuck are they going to cover that up?
Not only has Shibuya lost a full day's worth of productivity from its citizens, like, the largest building in the area has been demolished. There's like scoops out of all the pavements there. There's blood, there's bullets, there's dead people. Like, how do you keep this covered up?
Like, what are the people who were staying in that hotel going to do now?
Where are those people who were staying in that hotel?
I imagine the mind control thing got them out of there, like, with everyone else, but still, it's just like...
Where are they staying while they're mind controlled? This was their place to stay.
Absolutely no fucking clue.
They're currently sleeping rough, just outside of Shibuya.
And they're going to continue sleeping rough, because they don't have a hotel to go back to. Oh, dear Lord. So... I'm curious to see what happens after this event is over, because we still haven't reached the end of this event by the end of this episode. And like I said last time, this is up to where I've seen in the show, so I have no clue what's going to happen from here on out. So after he destroys the building, we cut back to Rain as she tries to sneak through the station, but is spotted, and as she tries to escape using her sigil, she's caught by Wang, who for some reason didn't appear on his sigil. At first I was kind of like, well, that seems like bullshit, but it makes sense now that we know what Wang's ability is, because later in this episode, as we discussed last time, it's revealed he can teleport up to 5 meters, so it's like, I imagine her ability does not account for instant transmission of matter from one place to another.
Apparently not. I guess what her ability really is she analyzes the people's movements and then predicts where they're going to be, instead of literally seeing the future. Because if it literally was seeing the future, she'd have known he was there.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, the way you put it there definitely makes it make much more sense. Otherwise, she would have known. Because she uses her ability and then Wang just appears in her face, and I really hate calling him Wang.
I just really don't like this character in general. I don't like referring to him at all.
I know, but oh god, it's not a name that translates well in the West, because Wang means something different.
To be fair, he is a bit of a dick. So
very true. He starts interrogating her. He breaks her arm and tries to get information out of her, because they're assuming anyone in the station knows about the treasure, which is kind of a fair assumption. But at the same time, I was like, what if they were just hiding out there?
Yeah, also, like, as Rain was going in, she was saying something along the lines of, like, it's the very centre of the map, like, there's people here anyway. I'm like, obviously, evidently, people are here who don't know anything about the treasure. They're just here.
No, people definitely just be camping out, because there will have been rings there, I imagine, and then they'll just been like, right, okay, let's just stay safe till this all blows over. But, no, they're a bit fucked now, because the 8th clan's moved in and is interrogating anyone and everyone they find.
Also, I'm not entirely sure whether it was explained in the episode and I just missed it. Why did Rain go in alone? Like, later, like, when her arm's been broken and she's rescued by everyone else, she's like, oh, it took you guys long enough. I'm like, how about you just, like, waited outside until they turned up as well?
I don't think it was ever explained, no. I think we're just... I don't know why they didn't go together, if I'm perfectly honest. I think the idea was that, obviously, they were split up initially, because 4 of them were out getting shuka, and 2 of them were still at the hotel, so it makes sense for them to arrive at different times, kind of, but they could have arranged to meet up first. I don't know, no, I think that's just bad planning on their part, if I'm perfectly honest, because they definitely should... If I was Kaname, I would have been like, right, okay, we'll meet you here, then we'll all go in together. I wouldn't have sent in Rain all on her own.
Yeah, it seems like the logical thing to go in together, instead of sending the 13-year-old girl in to get her arm broken.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. Like, I imagine they don't have advanced healing technology or anything. Then again, they have superpowers, so maybe they have a quirk that's like recovery girls. She can just recover instantly.
You have to assume so.
Be a bit useless for combat, but, you know, you'd be an excellent medic.
It would be kind of useful in combat, depending on how it works, I guess.
But yes, so starts interrogating her. She basically stalls him with a tale of it's like ancient China or something. They put a bunch of venomous things into one thing, and then the most venomous one survives and eats the rest.
I like how at the beginning Wang was like, hey, I don't have time for your bullshit, just tell me the point. She was like, I'm getting there. I'm like, no, Wang, keep breaking arms until she gets to the point, you know? Obviously you're being stalled, Wang.
Come now, does he seem like a smart man? I mean, supposedly he's a smart man because he figured out that the treasure was here. But, you know, does he seem like a smart man?
They keep bigging him up as like a smart man. To me, he just seems like a crazy man.
A generic crazy man who can chop off limbs in an instant. / break bones in an instant. Although breaking bones is much easier. So yeah, she stalls, Kaname and the gang arrive, they flashbang to get her out of there. And then a fight ensues. They do briefly try to negotiate, but naturally doesn't go anywhere. And then Kaname gets brain work, Rain to safety. Sui, Shuka take on all of the 8th clan, and as we mentioned last time, Yuji quite cleverly actually takes on Wang. His job is basically keep shooting at Wang, and he, like we said last time, he keeps moving like 10 meters away from him so that he can't 5-meter teleport straight to him. So it shows he has some brains. It was a nice little bit of detail there.
It was a fun strategic fight until Wang, not Wang, until Ryuji just doesn't do it anymore. He just forgets that you can get flanked, I guess, and then gets taken out. He got
distracted by other 8th member clans who were shooting at him and then instantly regretted it. Which, especially if you have body armor, I know he said it hurts like hell, but when you have body armor that's definitely blocking bullets, I would focus my attention on the guy who can teleport and dismember rather than the 2 people with pea shooters who we've already established can't penetrate your armor.
True.
But oh well. So gets distracted, and then when Wang catches up to him, he chops off one of his hands. They're in a shit state once all this is over. The girl's got a broken arm. One of them's had their hand chopped off. Like, what the fuck is what is gonna happen afterwards?
I feel worse for Ryuji. That's gonna be an awkward one to explain at A&E. How did you lose your arm? Well, you see, I was fighting a crazy teleporting man in the middle of Shibuya Station.
I think it goes more along the lines of traffic accident. How did you just traffic accident? Just help me.
Just accept it. It's very neatly cut for it. It's a car accident, okay? So after that, we come back to Rain, who starts using her ability in another way. So her ability is normally called Laplace, and this time she called it internal Laplace. I was just like, okay, so some generic anime bullshit of using your inner mind to figure out the puzzle. Yeah, this was prime anime bullshit for me. It's just Rain, only you can solve the problem, and then she just does a thing. It's a thing. It works. and then she has the problem solved.
It wasn't even that complicated either. She like took the digits, applied it using a date format, and went, this book about Charles Darwin's book was published this date. Okay, I figured it out. It's like, okay. I feel like a Google search would have done that.
Also, it doesn't really seem to have anything to do with her ability. Her ability is to predict people's movements, like she can see. And then she's like, I'm using my internal one to look into the past and figure out some numbers. Like, this not really got anything to do with your ability. You could have just been like, I'm clever. I'm going into my mind palace or something like that.
But no, yeah, I completely agree. This is why I called it like generic anime bullshit, because it's like your ability that we've seen so far has absolutely nothing to do with being smart. We thought you were just smart in general. Well, kind of, until you started telling people casually that you were the information broker whose name I can't remember, the analyst. That was it.
Seems like information she might have wanted to keep kept to herself until she was using. We've talked about this before. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. And then finally, as Wang is about to start, as he said, carving up Ryuji, because, well, we've seen him chop off limbs in an instant, Kaname appears and I assume he's bluffing, saying that he's already found the treasure and that he has the key to it, because to me, I'm just looking at that key and I'm being like, oh shit, hang on, I'll be back in a second. Right, okay, let's try to get through this then. We're at the end of episode 7, actually. Like I said, about Kaname's bluff with the having found the treasure and showing a key, which to me just looked like an apartment key or a car key or something.
Yeah, looked kind of like a car key to me.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see next episode how that goes, because Wang didn't seem to completely disbelieve him at the end of the episode, so it's just like, okay, how's this gonna go?
Seemed like Wang was on board.
Possibly. I guess I won't know how I feel about it until I see the result of it next week, because if Wang's behaviour up till now has been anything to go by, I'm like, would he go along with this? I feel like he would just, kill him and take it.
Yeah, but apparently this time he's not.
Maybe. We shall see next week. So, okay, overall thoughts of these 2 episodes, the wrapping up of the hotel arc, so to speak, and beginning the final run to look for this treasure.
I enjoyed these episodes about as much as I enjoy Darwin's Game. Probably maybe a little bit more than I enjoy Darwin's Game normally, but like, it's like the world's most forgettable anime to me. It's just like I'm not watching it. I find it hard to recall exactly what happened most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I completely agree. We've both said the same thing almost every week. It's like, it's an okay anime. We just keep forgetting about it.
Yeah. It's not even like it's bad. I enjoy my time watching it. I enjoy, like, it's generic for a reason. They're enjoyable genericisms, I guess, but it's just, it doesn't really stand out from the crowd, to be honest.
It has the potential to be something quite unique and quite interesting and really like fun and bombastic, but it's just certain things letting it down at the moment, like some of the convenience surrounding Kaname and the animation not being the greatest. The action scenes are quite fun when they do happen. We've been getting a bit more lately.
I want to see Shuka fight more. I like the telekinetic chains.
But alright then. Okay, so that's our thoughts on Darwin's Game, episodes 6 and 7 this week. As per usual, an alright show that's a bit forgettable, but slightly higher up this week due to more recent events. Mainly the action ramping up, I suppose, and learning a tad bit more about people in the world. Okay, and that leads us on to our most it's technically still a meh, but our most disliked show so far, definitely. No Gun's Life, episodes 7 and 8. Actually, just a quick random question, because I can't remember. When did we both watch these?
When I watched these episodes?
Because for me, I watched them all on Friday.
Thursday night, I think. Yeah, no,
it
would have been Thursday evening, Thursday night.
Because as with the Darwin's game, although I tend to remember that one a bit more, No Gun's Life I always kind of completely forget.
I was about
until
to
I read the plot summary.
I cannot remember what happened in this episode to save my life.
Let's find out together with my plot summary. Hopefully, as per usual, you can ramble through this quite quickly. Sorry, you got to say.
Someone could be holding a gun to my head and say, recount the plot for No Gun's Life, episode 6. I'm like, I don't know, okay? I'm sorry. I've watched it, I have no idea.
It's just too plain. Right, okay. Well, this is why I make the plot summary, so that we can remember it. Oh, okay. So, we open seeing Olivier being suspended from her duties, that's the leader of the EMS, until this matter is resolved, and she's also told someone else will be assigned to clean up this matter. Then we see Gondry try to kill the target. Gondry's the... What's the term that they use? I keep wanting to say cyborg, because that's what they technically are. Extended.
An overextended, probably.
An overextended, the first one to go rogue. And I finally remember the target's name now. It's Mega Armed. Christ, I can stop referring to him as the target. Gondry tries to kill Mega Armed.
I wonder what's so mega about his arms, to be honest. Like, one of them has a minigun in. That doesn't seem very mega, to be honest.
One has a minigun, and the other one's like Juzo's. That's about it.
Doesn't seem very mega.
I don't know. I'm not going to try and defend it.
He just seems kind of like normally overextended. Like the other guy, that guy has some freaky extensions. Like he's like a weird mimicry octopus monster. But
can she turn it into anything? At one point, he was the wall.
Wasn't he like Juzo's back at some point?
Yeah,
like he attached himself to Juzo's back and was just pretending to be. I feel like if I was Juzo, I would have noticed that, but like
the increased weight.
Yeah, like I feel like something's hanging onto my back. Turns out it's this weird extended man.
Out of all the things we've seen in the show so far, Gondry is probably my favourite because I don't know, I feel like he just has the coolest cybernetics. His ability is impressive.
Yeah, no, he's the coolest weird cyborg.
Also quite creepy.
Yeah, he's also creepy. I mean, I feel like I liked the look of Spider Lady maybe a little bit more, but I would have liked Spider Lady even more if she had that idea of the two separate people coming together to be one Spider Lady. But yeah, no, he's probably the coolest.
Which is saying a lot. It's all right, Chris. We only have 2 more weeks of this show. It's 2 more weeks.
I'm kind of looking forward to a new show at this point. It's not even like I hate watching it. It's just, it's there. It exists.
I'm not gonna lie. When I went to go watch Gun's Life this week, I was just kind of like, I kind of want to. I'm tempted to drop you, but there's only 2 weeks left, so we might as well finish you. But I would not miss you at all.
It's
this
not
isn't to say the show is awful.
Like in 2 years' time, if someone said, "What did you think of No Gun's Life?" I'll probably be like, "What? What show?" Like that's probably where I'm at with it.
The most I would say was like the show, the guy with the gun for a head. It was meh. I think
it was all right.
It's probably the most affection I can give it. But yeah, so we see Gondry try to kill Mega Armed, and Juzo arrives in time to stop him, and then he escapes in inverted commas, because as we already mentioned, he didn't actually escape. He just turned into Juzo's back. So no.
That's a line that can only come from anime. Oh, he didn't actually escape. He just turned into our main character's back. It's just what he did.
That's what makes anime fantastic, Chris. You don't get anything like that in the West now. Come on.
Oh no, we're all too dour over here.
We're all too sensible. Japan, something happened when they were nuked because they just went batshit crazy with their fiction. Oh, we then cut to Tetsuro, Mary, and the rest as they overhear the guards talking about what happened to Olivier, but we also see Mary looking concerned because she knows Juzo doesn't have any more cigarettes. She was planning to give him a pack before they went their separate ways.
Now, see, I was under the impression that Juzo didn't actually need the cigarettes, he just liked them, because that's what he said before. But now it turns out he actually does really need the cigarettes.
I assumed from before that he did need the cigarettes. He was just, like, toughening it up in front of the company rep. That's what I assumed, because why would they bring that in otherwise, being like, he needs these to survive, and then just to go, he doesn't need them to survive.
when he just seemed he didn't seem very concerned that he didn't have any, and then like the next episode he just didn't have any, and he was like, okay, whatever. But this episode it turns him into a weird berserk monster. Oh, okay, cool.
I quite like him in berserk mode. It is fun seeing him beat the shit out of people.
It's fun seeing him have powers that are more than he's got a revolver strapped to his fist. It's pretty cool seeing him like become a weird monster.
It was a pretty cool scene, but that we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Tetsuo gets the guard's attention and says he'll make sure the cigarettes get to Juzo, and he uses harmony. We know where that's going from there. We then see Juzo. Actually, one thing first. How like later on we see him like easily subdue a guard, but I'm like, when he overtook that guard, what how? I don't know. I feel like he shouldn't be that combat proficient.
Yeah.
I feel like there should have been quite the scrap with that first guard, because there were two guards outside, so when he took over that one guard, the other guard should have been like, hey, you okay? Why are you wandering off? Where are you going? What?
I feel like a lot of questions should have been asked, to be honest.
I feel like something more should have happened there, but oh well. But okay, so that happens. We then see Juzo explaining the situation. Oh, go on.
Just keep talking. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just carry on the plot summary. We then see Juzo explaining the situation to Mega Armed, and Cronin informs him that Olivier is no longer in charge, and that'll be ordered to kill Gondry on sight, and then he just kind of leaves the area. Although, to be fair, later on this is revealed that he's not actually leaving the area, but we'll get to that. And then just after, Gondry appears again. Like we said, he appears from Juzo's back and gets to jump on them. And we learn the reason he's killing his old comrades is because he wants to be acknowledged by the world again, or something along those lines. It was very vague, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's quite generic.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what he wanted, to be honest.
I didn't understand what he wanted, but at the same time, I guess it doesn't really matter, because later on we learned that it wasn't actually him. It was someone using harmony on him. But again, as I keep saying, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, that's a meh motivation. And then Juzo gets back up and challenges him to a 1v1, which I was very surprised that Gondry agreed. I was like, why are you agreeing? You got the guy right there. You were about to kill him.
You could have at least killed him and then done his one-on-one.
I know, looking back on it, it's like, okay, he was being mind controlled, but at the same time, like, okay, so going to the mind controller's perspective, why did you do that? You clearly wanted this person dead. / everyone else related to them. But oh well. To be fair, that's sorry, go on.
I mean, it was also at this point in the episode I was like, because I never really understood what Juzo's power is. Like, he just seemed like a kind of strong dude with a revolver head. So I was like, you're going to go one-on-one with this like weird tentacle monster? And I guess he just had more power than I assumed at this point.
Yeah, their fight scene isn't anything too special either, which is a bit of a shame considering what we see Juzo do later against Mega Armed. I feel like they could have done more with this fight scene, because this fight scene that they have in their 1v1 is literally just Juzo punches the guy over and over and over and over. Yeah, it's literally like the same few frames of animation, and it is very unimaginative.
It's dull choreography. Words.
Choreography.
Ugh. Words are failing me today, apparently.
Actually, to be fair, you technically said it. You just said it a weird way.
Yes, I said it a weird way. But like, yeah, it's just dull. It's kind of boring to watch.
Like the guy whom we've seen like kick multiple people's ass just shielded himself with his arms and occasionally like pierced Juzo with a few of the arms, but otherwise he just kind of sat there taking all Juzo's punches. Just like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, so after that, like, I get why Juzo didn't go too all out, because afterwards it's revealed the purpose of this was to he was trying to get his sub-brain to overheat, which he does, which reveals the fucking red ring of death, which I'm going to keep calling it that because Xbox.
Turns out Baruran is just Microsoft in the future.
Yep, apparently.
I remembered the corporation's name. That surprised me very much as it came out of my mouth. As I was saying it, I was like, Jesus Christ, I remember it.
I was going to say, that surprised me as well. I refuse to call them by the name because I can't say it. I'm just going to keep calling them the company. Because, why not make an alien reference? Or was that aliens? Either way. So yeah, he reveals the Red Ring of Death. Gondry fucks off, and then we see Cronin, in fact, didn't actually fuck off, and he isn't actually going to kill Gondry. They're reluctantly working together, which I feel like. I mean, I'm not against it, but I feel like they could have developed that a bit more, because he kind of just fucked off, being like, "Hey, I'm going to kill him on sight," and there wasn't any, unless I completely just missed it. I didn't see any like subtle signs to be like, "No, I'm still working with you." It was just like, okay.
No, I don't think there are any signs. I think it's meant to be like a, oh look, Juzo's a genius moment. Like, oh look, he knew that guy's nature. He wasn't going to run away. Where I was just like, oh cool, that happened. Like it wasn't like any particular reveal. I was like, okay, right,
yeah, same. So yeah, Cronin's there. He disables him using his like needle trick. And then what else happens? Cronin's there, and his needles incapacitate Gendry. Different show entirely.
It would also be a lot easier.
Then afterwards, see a glimpse of two people in robes, one a gunhead, and the other a Harmony user who seems to have been controlling Gondry for some time. We cut back to Olivier, who's at the morgue and is informed the first victim of Gondry was murdered in a different manner, which I feel like he should have picked on sooner.
Yeah, because it's not even like it's that subtle. His chest is caved in. It's different.
It's like, hey, these two guys were slashed to death. This guy, yeah, the slash came afterwards. This guy definitely had his chest was caved in by a very strong impact. It's like, how did you not figure that out? Because it's not even subtle cosmetically. Like, you could see where he was punched.
It wasn't like they needed to scan him or something. Always like they could have been like, oh, we did some X-rays and it turns out he's got loads of internal damage. That can't be done by the slash. But instead of like, no, look, there's a fist mark in the middle of his chest where his chest got caved. I'm like, you guys are bad at your job. You're not good at this.
And thanks to that, it's like, well, I wonder where this is going. But yeah, no, they're just plain bad at their job, and I was just like, how is this company still running? You seem very incompetent. Even more incompetent when fucking Tetsuro comes along in the guard's body and knocks out two of the guards instantaneously, and I'm just like, yeah, no, you're all bad at what you do. I don't care how strong the body is. Tetsuro has no combat experience.
At some point, I'm fairly sure that Megaram says something along the lines of, "Oh, and you're incompetent EMS." I'm like, I'm with him. We need to revolutionize this corporation or whatever it is.
Like you're all terrible at what you do. Please, no. You need to reform. You need to overhaul your procedures and training and everything because you're all bad at everything you do. So yeah, Tetsuro arrives there, knocks out the guards, and he's like, "Hey, Olivier, take me to Juzo." And then back with Juzo, we see Gondry briefly regain consciousness, and he seems to think he's back in the war. So I guess the implication there is that he's been mind controlled for that long. Maybe.
I don't really know what they're trying to say about that.
It's the only thing I can assume. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a weird detail.
I mean, but isn't this technology new?
That's what I'm thinking as well. That's why I'm confused. It's like, I thought Harmony was brand new, but I would normally insinuate from that he's been mind controlled since the war, because he was like, huh? Where's the war? What's happening? So I don't know. Again, this might be clarified later on, but until then, we shan't know. And then when Juzo and Cronin reveal what they plan to do with Gondry, Mega Arm turns around and he's like, I can't let you reveal the secret of the massacre because, surprise, he's actually the bad guy, which, to be fair, the reveal was only... we were only given the clue to that about 5 minutes ago. But
like, the sequence of events that happens that leads to this, it's just kind of like encapsulates the whole show for me. It's just like, oh, okay. It just keeps happening. I'm like, oh, okay. And then another thing happens, like, oh, okay.
Maybe I've been spoiled with the media I grew up with, but in typical like murder mysteries and stuff like that, or kind of mystery genre in general, like my mum's a huge fan of Agatha Christie, and I've grown up watching Poirot, Miss Marple, all that kind of stuff, and then also in shows like Star Trek and stuff, all have mysteries. You know, you gotta provide clues throughout, rather than just throwing a clue in at the last minute.
The best ones have it so that the audience member could have figured it out all along. It makes you feel like a detective while you're doing it. Well, in this one, they're just like, oh, 5 minutes ago, they're like, oh, look, he was killed by Megaram. You're like, okay. I guess it's Megaram then.
It's like maybe I'm missing something in the show because I remember a lot of people really like the show for some reason. Like the person I told you to go check like his recommendations out, he really loves No Guns Life, and now that I'm watching it, I'm like, why did you love this show? Like I usually agree with you. For anyone who's wondering who I'm referring to, I usually get my seasonal anime recommendations from a YouTuber called Mother's Basement. I'd happily go recommend you check him out, although this one is a bit of a blunder with No Guns Life, at least in regards to me. But
is this going to be another Code Geass where we're going to get shit for disliking a show that everybody likes? Well, not even disliking, just like being a bit more on
very
the mess
meh
side
about it. I mean, hell, we didn't even dislike Code Geass. By the end of it, we were like, this is fun. We like this.
Yeah, no, Code Geass was what I was talking about. We didn't dislike Code Geass. We're just more kind of meh on it for most of the time, and then at the end when it then hit the wall, so to speak, we're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, and also it actually surprisingly made us like the mech genre, because both you and I had the same opinion, where we were just like, mechs? But they actually did some interesting things with it. But no, I feel like this may be that situation, Chris, again, because I just... again, check out Mother's Basement recommendations, because I really would. He does make some good recommendations. A lot of the anime that I've watched over the years and have really enjoyed have been on his recommendation, but this one, not so much. I'm not getting it. I feel like we must be missing something because I'm not getting it. It definitely doesn't do well as a murder mystery. As a cyberpunk thing, it's okay so far. As a noir thing, well, it just does the standard noir tropes, which, if you don't like the rest of it, is just kind of annoying.
It draws... when it comes to its noir stylings, it's just kind of like... It kind of takes, like, the look of a noir without really taking anything that's special about noir or engaging about noir. It's just like, oh, look, he smokes cigarettes and doesn't trust anyone. Okay.
Yeah, and this comes back full circle with, like, you can have a noir setting, and if you give us a good mystery, then we probably will forgive the noir stuff, but the mysteries are just kind of shite. But anyway, so it's little rant / I guess summary of our thoughts on the show over with. Let's get to episode 8 so that we can get to ReZero.
Oh, we're not even episode 8 yet.
No, that was the end of episode 7. So now episode 8.
Something about Bray was like, well, this has been going on forever. No, not even on episode 8.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. We're nearly there. So we open in Olivier's flashback with her talking to her father, saying that she wants him to quit his job in the military police. When he says no, she promises to become top of the military police just so she could fire him, which I thought was kind of a cute moment, but at the same time I was like, I'm not all that attached to your character, so
It's kind of an alright moment, but at the same time, she looked like, what, she was like 15, 16? She looked a bit older. I'm like, hey, Dad, how about you just quit your job? Okay.
I mean, I can kind of understand it from coming from a similar perspective, just the opposite way around, because way back when, I wanted to join the military, but, and to be fair, all my family members were for it, apart from my father, because he didn't want the call, which I imagine is what she didn't want either, which is exactly what happened in the show, because her father was part of the unit that was killed by Gondry when he initially went rogue, or at least that's what she thought.
Dun dun dun.
So I can kind of understand her wanting her dad to quit his job, but at the same time I understand her dad being like, no, we need money, and I'm good at this.
Also, military police, dangerous. It's not the most dangerous job in the military.
But no, yes. So then we see her and Tetsuro in the taxi on their way. Tetsuro's pointing a gun at her because he doesn't quite trust her yet. But eventually she convinces him to lower it, and they arrive. I do like how the taxi driver was just looking him back in the mirror nervously, like, I'm surprised he
didn't call the cops on them, apparently. He was just like, I don't like this scenario, but money is money. So
that and I don't want to be shot, as I imagine is the thought going through his head. But afterwards, I'm surprised he didn't call the cops. Yes, but so yes.
Well, I guess Tetsuro did look like a cop at the time. So
yeah, technically
maybe
he did. So I'm just not going to mess with the EMS. They do what they do, because I think everyone knows who the EMS are. So yeah, but then after the OP, we see the result of Mega Armed and Juzo's punch, because end of last episode, basically, after the reveal of Mega Arm's a bad guy. He one punches Cronin out, which I imagine should definitely have killed him because the show's verified he's completely a normal human. So I feel like he should definitely be dead, but he's not going to be dead.
That guy should be messed up on the inside.
Because he punched him with like his, well, funnily enough, Mega Arm, and then Juzo and him went to go punch each other, and yeah, the punch basically does nothing to Mega Armed, but tires out Juzo, who's also tired out from his lack of cigarette medicine.
It's one of those things, right? I understand that Mega Arm's powerful, and he's meant to be like the prototype they're all based on, but I feel like Juzo being a newer model of a very similar...
Should be the more powerful, yeah.
Yeah, of a very similar Mega Arm deal, should be more powerful than Mega Arm, just by virtue of being newer. But,
like, he seems to be a lot more powerful when he goes, like, into his, war setting shortly after this. But Juzo, as is, doesn't seem to be that powerful. I'm like, so is his true potential unlocked when he, like, goes into war mode? That's, like, the only excuse I could think up for him not being as strong as Mega Armed beforehand. Because it's like, you should definitely be... Like, that's generally how this works. You have a prototype, and then the stuff you base off that prototype is generally better. I'm pretty sure that's the idea anyway.
I mean, I guess it could have gone down like a different route. I guess the stuff, they could have like made it cheaper or something. Like, oh, we got the good technology, now we can reproduce. I don't know. I'm making excuses. I don't understand.
I don't know. There may be a valid reason for it. Like we said, there may be only his true potential could be unlocked when he goes to war mode, and he doesn't like to go into war mode naturally because he kind of loses his mind. But I don't know. Anyway. Yes, so that tires him out. Then Mega Arm like pins him up against the wall and is like, "Join me," which I was just like, "Really? We're doing that as well?" It's like, I don't feel like Juzo's going to join him. Funnily enough.
Yeah, but what about Juzo's character made Mega Arm be like, "Oh yeah, no, this guy's teetering. He can join my side." I'm like, just kill him, Mega Arm. He's heard everything.
And also, what about his character? Yeah, there's that from Mega Arm's perspective, and then there's also our perspective of like, are we supposed to feel tension here? Because we know for a fact he's not gonna. What about his character is gonna make him join you? This isn't like the same thing as Darth Vader asking Luke to join him on the dark side because, he's his father. This is just like a very pale imitation of that.
It's there's two dudes who barely know each other who one of them's like, "Hey, join me," and the other's like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay." Whatever.
So yeah, there was that, and Juzo doesn't answer because he asks for a cigarette instead, and then Juzo gets... I don't know if he was trying to kill Juzo or not with that, because the way they did it sounded like he'd like broken his neck or something. I assume that's the sound effect they were going for there, because that didn't sound like being simply knocked out.
Yeah, no, it looked like his neck was broken. Also, but wasn't Mega Ram's audio something like that? His dialogue was something along the lines of, like, you're dead now. You're dead, I'm sad that you're dead. I can't remember.
I can't remember. You're watching the dub, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm watching the sub. I don't remember him saying that in the sub. He might have said that in the dub, though. I can't. Hell, he might have said that in the sub. I legit can't remember.
I can't remember really either.
I'm not writing down the dialogue for No Gun's life.
On the subject of watching the dub, it is a bit weird hearing robotic All Might be evil, It's All Might's voice being like, I've got you. You're dead now. I'm like, okay, right? This is weird.
I forgot it's All Might for you, isn't it?
It's a bit odd.
Oh, dear me. Okay, so, yeah, after that, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, just trying to catch up on the notes. And we swiftly see... there we go. Yeah, we swiftly see why Juzo wanted his cigarette, because, like I said, mentioned before, he seems to go back to his base war programming, and
I did like the Amazon Alexa voice. That just I was like,
I did like that.
Hey, it's initiating combat procedures. I'm like, oh, cool.
I did also like the bit of detail where it's just like he goes through his transformation and he goes into his war mode, and then he's just sat there, and Mega Arm's like, the fuck, and then the Alexa voice is like, awaiting authorization, and then Mega Arm's like, you can't even fight without a user, so he goes to punch him, and then, to be fair, smart programming on the guy at the War Department's part. As soon as he got punched, he was like, detecting threat of violence, enabling limited combat mode. I was just like, yes, do it.
I mean, I enjoyed this whole fight. It was the most dynamic fight we've had in this whole anime, and it was fun to watch.
It was mostly just Juzo kicking Mega Arm's ass, but to be fair, Mega Arm got his share in as well, because I mean, at one point, as Chris mentioned before, Mega Arm like reveals a minigun and blasts Juzo with it, and then Juzo's just like, nah, tosses him casually through a few walls. I'm curious though as to why when Juzo's in war mode, he seems to lose all of his personality.
I don't understand that.
That's really weird.
Also, what came out of his back? Was that like another gun handle?
It seemed like another trigger.
Giant gun handle?
I was just like, why? He already has one on the back of his head. What's that one for? Does he have a bigger gun in his chest or something?
Like, also, with all this stuff inside him, where is there room left for his human bits? Like, where's his heart and brain and lungs and stuff?
I don't even know, because I mean, as we mentioned before, cybernetics is supposed to be the fusion of man and technology, and he got blasted to bits with a minigun here, and I'm just like, how much of you is human?
Yeah, where are your human bits?
Like, they call you overextended, so you're still a cyborg to some extent, which means you have something human in there. I assume the human brain somewhere in there, because that's generally the most important part to keep if you're doing cybernetics. Because when we have a flashback to like the first people being experimented on to be turned into overextended, like Gondry and such, you see that that basically the only human bits are like their chest and their head, which even now aren't, because you see them like floating in body bags and like all their limbs are gone. It's kind of an eerie sight and kind of cool visual, but it's at the same time with Juzo we just have no idea. It's like, when should I be concerned for you? You can take too much damage.
I mean, also, if he ever gets into trouble now, like in whatever fight he gets into, is like, well, if he gets in too much trouble, war mode will activate, and then he'll just like fuck everyone up.
Only if he's low on cigarettes, because I somehow doubt he's... I'm assuming the whole point of his character is he's never going to do that willingly, seeing as he seems to lose his mind and his personality. So if he's ever low on cigarettes, we know it's coming.
I feel like he would do it, though. Like, he's like, I'll never let anyone touch my trigger, except when Spider Lady's coming. He's like, okay, right, touch my trigger. It's time to get out of this.
Dearie. Maybe, but there's only 4 episodes left, so I highly doubt it's going to happen again.
Maybe in season 2.
Oh, yay. I somehow don't think we'll be covering season 2.
Probably not.
Unless this show magically turns around in the last 4 episodes. So, Olivier and Tetsuro eventually arrive on the scene, and Olivier confronts Mega Armed, because Mega Armed eventually incapacitates Juzo temporarily with some like weird explosives. Not quite sure what they were supposed to be, but it seems to incapacitate him. Then Mega Arm comes back through the wall, babbling on about the secrets, and then Olivier's like, could you say that again? Basically revealing that he's responsible for her father's death.
Why is Mega Arm talking to himself about all of his crimes?
Fucking idiot.
Why is he just wandering around talking about the many crimes he's committed?
It's like, yeah, fair enough if you think no one's there, but at the same time, shut the fuck up. You want to keep this on the down low.
You've gone to great trouble trying to like keep this all secret, and here you are just wandering around being like, yes, that time I killed all those people and did all these horrible things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a nice convenient way for Olivier to get the information, I guess.
Yeah. And then Juzo comes blasting in through the wall with, to be fair, I found it quite funny, with just Tetsuro on his back being like, oi, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I was just like, oh, fuck off. But at the same time, I was like, okay, it's a bit funny. Just watching him helplessly try to restrain Juzo.
It's a little bit funny, but I don't like Tetsuro. So
it was more the visual than his quips. Just Tetsuro hanging on Juzo's back, and Juzo be like, fuck off. But yeah, and then Juzo comes bursting through the wall and swiftly subdues Mega Armed and is about to kill him, but he stops after Olivier says to kill him, because that seems to somehow briefly snap him back to it. I don't know.
He just loves disobeying her. He's like, she says, kill him. He's like, what? No. It's instantly mentally snaps him back into place.
Apparently. And then he goes unconscious, and I can't even remember what happened to Juzo, because Juzo kind of like just vanishes for a minute here when Juzo's unconscious and Olivier is on him.
Yeah, like, isn't he just lying there? And Olivia's like chatting with Megaram, and then she gives him the smoke breath of life.
Yeah.
I assume he's just kind of lying then.
I can't remember if he was in frame or not, so I might have just forgotten that he was there, but I feel like Tetsuro just kind of like vanishes for a minute whilst Mega Arm slowly approaches to kill Olivier, and like Chris said, Olivier gives Juzo the smoke of life because she smokes a cigarette and breathes it into his mouth, and he pops back up, be like, right, okay, let's just finish this off now, and he swiftly finishes the fight.
I do like how after that, like, she does it all cool, like, I say cool, like, none of it's cool, it all looked a bit awkward to me, but whatever. She does it all cool, like, and then at the end she's like, I accidentally swallowed a bit, and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, I did like that. a very relatable thing for anyone who's not smoked before, because I remember the first time and only time I've tried a cigarette, that was pretty much my reaction.
I've never tried an actual cigarette. I tried one of those, like, water pipe things, hit my lungs, and my lungs were like, nope. Out, cough it all up.
I know exactly the things you're on about. I can't understand how or why anyone can do it, but people do what they do. They know the consequences of it nowadays.
All my family seem to get along with that water pipe rather well, and I as soon as it hit my lungs, it hit the eject button on my body, and my body just like was like, nope, it's all coming out, and then everybody laughed at me. I don't smoke. I'm sorry.
This is normal. But yes, okay, so that happens. They subdue Mega Armed by like jamming a rod into like his minigun arm. And then the EMS arrive on the scene, and Tetsuro and Juzo escape whilst Olivier distracts them with a like really stinky cat food thing. I never got that. She uses that to de-stress. It's like, how? That's not how stress works.
It's one of those weird Japanese joke things that I'm sure like lands for Japanese people, but for me, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Like, I'll admit, I got a chuckle out of her opening that, and then the EMS people being like, "Oh God, she's releasing a gas. What is it? It's unidentified." I was like, "Okay, that's a bit funny," but her using it to de-stress, I'm like, "The fuck? This makes no sense." But yeah, and then finally, while on the prison transport, I think we see Olivier realize that Mega Armed. I think in their conversation, Mega Armed established that he was working for the company.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what that conversation was. And as soon as she realizes this, a huge blast hits the vehicle, and we see the two robed figures from before. That was a gunshot from the gun head. Yeah, that wraps up episode 8 of No Gun's life. So, how did we find that this week, apart from very forgettable as per usual as well?
One fun fight wrapped in a lot of like forgettableness.
There was one fun fight, and we got to see one coolish character, that being Gondry, because his design / his abilities are cool, but his fight was shit. And then Juzo's fight in Berserk mode, I'm going to call it, was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of couched in like a lot of meh, though.
Yeah,
it's like it's not even like it's not bad enough for me to like be like I want to stop watching this very instant. I'm like, it's all right.
It's like it's just enough where I'm like, I don't look forward to watching you when we get around to you, but yeah, I also don't be like, I want to drop this right now. It's another one of those shows like Darwin's Game where it's like you have potential, but you just kind of waste it. At least in my opinion. I guess it depends on your expectations going into the show, but when I was going into the show, I was expecting, because of it being a noir setting, a decent mystery and obviously decent characters and stuff. That's a given for any show, really. But we haven't really got any of those things. We've just had like one or two cool setting things and one or two cool fight scenes, but otherwise the bad guys are kind of just eh.
I guess it all comes down to personal preference, really. If this is your show, it's your show. But it's not gelling with us very well.
If you've seen the show and you do like it, please don't hate us. We're not saying it's terrible. Feel free to tell us below why you like it. I want to see your perspective on why you like it, because I don't want to hate on the show. It is just very meh for us.
One thing I'll say is, like, I said this I think it was last week. Yeah, it must have been last week. I find it kind of ugly to look at. I don't like the character designs and the griminess of it all. which just kind of like it just like breeds an atmosphere of like mild dislike for the most part.
Oh, that's fair enough for me. Actually, I actually don't mind the character designs and the look of the world too much. It's different enough to other anime styles, and in my mind at least. But again, beauty's in the is it beauty's in the eye of the beholder? Is that appropriate here? I don't know. But everyone's perspective on what looks good is different. For me, it doesn't look too bad, but obviously, with its different anime style to other anime, I could easily see why some people wouldn't like it anyway. But no, yeah, seriously, if you do like this show, please tell us why. Don't be a dick about it. Don't accuse us of being. I mean, you can accuse us of being uncultured swine, but we'll probably just laugh at that comment.
Because we are.
Of course. But no, seriously, just tell us what the points about it that you like, because maybe we're just missing something. Because when we do watch these shows, we try not, especially in my case where I watch the sub, I have to pay attention 100%, but I can safely say, I think for Chris as well, that we do, we try to pay attention to the characters, the plots, and all that. It's not like we're just half-assedly watching it and being like, shit.
I give it my best go. I pay it full attention.
So yeah,
it's not a side monitor thing. I put it on the television. I sit down. I put my head back and I intently focus on the show, which sometimes is to my detriment because it's No Guns Life and I may get very bored. But
but we try. So yeah, tell us
every one
if
of them
you do
gets my
why.
full attention.
But okay, so well that said, that is episodes 7 and 8 of No Guns Life as per usual. Meh for us. On a slight negative, but to be fair, I think this week's probably the most positive we've been. We got one or two cool moments out of each episode had a cool thing in it. The first episode was Gondry. The second episode was Juzo kicking ass.
Good enough. No Guns Life. Good enough. I'll give you a strong, passable C-.
Yeah, got something out of us this week. But okay, so that leads us on to our final show of this week, which is ReZero, the Director's Cut, episode 4. As per usual, that's 2 episodes rolled into 1. Okie dokie, so I shall rush into the plot summary of this one. After I get that cough out the way, we open with Subaru shooting up out of bed, screaming in pain, frightening Rem and Ram. He is then swiftly apologizes and asks what day and time it is, which I don't know why he did that. I assume he knows what his checkpoint is now, but apparently he didn't.
It would really suck for him if his checkpoint happened just the night before he's about to die.
Oh god, yeah, you have one day to fix all this somehow. Oh. But yes, after the OP, we see Subaru once again trying to calm himself around Beatrice / grasp what exactly happened. If there are any other targets, he's basically just trying to assess his situation because his last death, if I'm remembering correctly, at this point his last death was when he started like feeling cold and vomiting, and then he was completely obliterated by the ball on a chain with his head caved in. I think that was his last death at this point.
Yes, I think so.
And eventually he gets launched out the window by Beatrice, because I think it was at this point Beatrice revealed that she was the one who healed him, not Amelia. And he just plain up didn't believe her, because, he said for heals for Amelia.
Who wouldn't be?
And yeah, he gets launched out the window into a patch of plants which just had manure spread on it, and Amelia's there, finds him. Puck gives him a quick wash, which definitely looked like it could have been deadly because he was basically just put into a whirlpool.
It was a very, very violent way of washing.
I mean, it worked. It got the manure off him, but still, it's just like I'd be pissed too. I'd be a little pissed too. And then they get another nice moment with Subaru basically explaining why he keeps calling her Amelia Tan. It's like a nickname, and she learns that she doesn't have many friends. He learns that she doesn't have many friends and is easy to please. I love Subaru and Puck's interactions.
I like it too. I mean, I like all the characters and their interactions, to be honest. Minus maybe Lord whatever, Rosenwell, whatever his name is.
Roswell.
Lord, I've not really had enough time to interact with him, apart from him being naked in a bath, I guess.
I was going to say, to be fair, out of all the characters to dislike, I mean, yeah, he's the one who's had the least development so far. We've only seen him in passing, apart from, like you said, the one bath scene, which we still didn't even learn that much about him. It was just mainly him asking Subaru about stuff. So, yeah, maybe we'll learn more about him in the future. I legit can't remember on that front. And then this time around, Subaru asks to be allowed to stay as a house guest instead of working there, and he basically uses the next 4 days to try and find out clues about the attacker and their intentions. What did you think of that particular strategy? Obviously, before we saw the results.
Well, he's assuming that his actions before didn't lead to his death before, if that makes sense. He's assuming that there's always going to be attack, but he took a very different path this time, and it did work out that he died. Maybe by a different method than he died the last time, but I don't know. As methodology goes, I'd have tried to have done what I did last time to get the same results, but
yeah, differ it slightly, but not too radically. No, I would agree with that. I feel like it's a bit too sudden of a you've gone one direction, now you've just gone 180 degrees in the other one.
But it's not like he did that in the hopes of changing his future. He was like, I'll do that so I can get more clues as to what the attack is. But I wouldn't assume that the attack would happen the same way if I changed everything.
But as you mentioned, fortunately, it does work out for him. But the safer route definitely would have been to keep things similar, just not exactly the same, which I guess you could technically argue this is that, but at the same time, it's still quite the big difference, because all of his interactions this time around were completely different with everyone, seeing as he wasn't actually working there. Rem did not give him the time of day at all. Him and Ram were pretty much the same as usual. But yes, so this time round, he's the 4 days to try and find clues. The first day, Rem and Ram treat him pretty coldly. The second, he visits Beatrice again and asks... Now, I don't know how I feel about him just straight up asking Beatrice, being like, hey, so can people be killed this way? I'd be like, that's incredibly suspicious, Subaru.
Yeah, in both these episodes, I'm glad neither of these are the prime timeline anymore, because he fucks up hard, and great way of keying people into thinking you're an assassin by going to the library full of deadly techniques and be like, hey, how do I kill people?
Library.
how do I kill people in a horrible way?
If I was Beatrice, I would have been straight away like, what? Beatrice just, kind of... I mean, thankfully for Subaru, Beatrice kind of goes along with it, but I would have been... I probably would have been more subtle about it, either done the research myself or at least definitely worded it another way, other than just, so, how can people be killed in some strange ways? Oh, Christ.
I'd be like, this guy's definitely researching assassination methods. That's why he's here.
Yep, he's... Great on reducing notoriety there, Subaru. But again, thankfully, this isn't his prime timeline. But yeah, so she reveals to him that... so basically he asks about the methods that he's died about already, and she goes along with it and says a curse, or a curse similar to a spell, or mana draining, which she did to him before. This is when Subaru learns that she's the one who healed him, and then she launches him out the window again. Where are we up to in my notes? Because there's a lot of notes. After being flung out the window again, we cut to some time later when Ram sits down with him to have some tea in his room, because, I don't know, she likes slacking off. It's not against the character to do that, really. She's always been the one who's been nicest to him.
I mean, he also ordered her to be friendlier. And she's like, you ordered me to be friendlier, so here I am having tea. Okay.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I don't feel like she would care if he ordered her to be friendly. I think she's just like, I'll take the excuse to have a break. But no, yeah, so they sit down, have tea in their room. She asks how his studies are going. Keeping in mind, he's not actually studying at this point in time. He's trying to gather clues on how to kill people, which I feel like he should be a lot more cautious about than just having it on a random notepad out in the open, because it's he's doing this work out in the open in the middle of the day, and then she comes in and he's swiftly covering up his notes, and I'm like, Subaru, you need to hide that better.
To be fair, he's writing it in Japanese, and they have a different language, so...
Was he?
I assume he was writing it in Japanese.
If he was, that's actually brilliant. Okay, fair enough. If he's writing it in Japanese, I'll take back everything I said. Because, they can't read Japanese, they just think it's gibberish. When he wrote his name in Japanese and Ram was teaching him their language, he was like, you don't have time for doodles.
So I assumed it was in Japanese, and that was why he was like... Because I didn't think he was that proficient in their language yet to write in their language, like full sentence structures and whatnot.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. It would be an excellent way of keeping secret information as well. So, no, I mean, I'll go with that for now until I inevitably rewatch it at some point, and I'll keep an eye out for that detail to see if it is or not. But no, yeah, and then he tells Ram that he's got the grasp of their basic language. He can read through the fairy tale book that he was given, and he comments on how similar but with slightly differing morals that their fairy tales are to the ones he knows. And then he goes on to tell her about the story about the red ogre who cried, which in short summary is about a blue and a red ogre. Red ogre wants to be friends with humans, but humans are scared of him, so they pitch a plan where the blue ogre will attack the humans, and then he'll come in and rescue them. And then the blue ogre, as the red ogre becomes friends with the humans, the blue ogre eventually just fucks off completely because he's happy for his friend, but doesn't want to get in the way because if he sticks around, he thinks that the humans will start to think the red ogre's bad. And I like Ram's reaction where she was just like, everyone in this story was just stupid.
Evidently doesn't grasp what fairy tales are about.
Not quite, no. It's like it's a fairy tale that they're meant to be the smartest of people.
It's meant to teach a moral to children, basically.
Subaru's like, okay, what would you have done in this situation? And she goes, well, if I were the ogre, I would have just ripped off my horns and then made friends with the humans. It's like, damn, Ram.
Also, why would ripping off... I mean, I guess that makes you not a threat to the humans, but why would that make you any friend? Why would the humans then be like, I like ogres?
Maybe ogres in their world look like humans but just have horns. I don't know. We have to see this world's mythology, which we haven't yet, apart from like a picture of a dragon.
True. A dragon that is apparently real and looks after the kingdom and lives under a waterfall many miles away.
Yes, well remembered actually, because I couldn't remember the details on the dragon. I just remembered that it had something to do with the kingdom that they were in, because like the royal family had a deal with the dragon supposedly, which because the royal family's bloodline just died out, technically is null and void. I think. Can't remember. But no, yeah, we get some interesting points on their version of fairy tales and their morals and the kingdom and stuff. And eventually, soon she leaves after a brief discussion about the dragon related to the kingdom. Subaru does try to ask about the Witch of Envy as well, which, fair enough, he finally got around to it, and Ram was just like, nope, not talking about that. It's like, just tell us. We're not from here. Somebody tell us.
I mean, it's got something to do with the mystery of the show in general, because he's got, like, the blessing of the Witch of Envy or something. Like, everyone's like, you've got some, like, Witch of Envy magic about you, and I guess that's got something to do with his revivals.
I look forward to seeing where that goes, because, again, I can't 100% remember the details of ReZero Season 1. Also, random note, but ReZero Season 2 has been delayed till the next season of anime, so we don't have to worry about catching up for that.
Damn you, coronavirus. I'm assuming that's what that was.
Possibly. I think actually it was delayed before the coronavirus thing. I think it was just production delays, but production delays could be coronavirus related. I don't know.
Damn you, production delays.
Either way, it's not until next season now, but that's fine with me. As video games have taught me, I'll happily take a delay if that means the product is good. So yeah, that random note out of the way. So she leaves after refusing to tell him anything about the Witch of Envy, and she says not to tell Rem about the yoga story because she's certain she wouldn't like it. That's obviously going to go somewhere, I imagine. The next day, presumably the fourth day, Subaru leaves the mansion, and everyone sees him off, and he tells them all that he's like going back to the capital to like go sort himself out, basically. But actually, when he leaves their sights, he runs off into the forest to get like he goes up to a cliff through the forest to a cliff face where he can have like an overview of the mansion. He's basically scouting out the knights to see the attacker enter the mansion and hopefully go try and stop it. That was his plan.
I will dub this the suspicious timeline. The timeline where he did everything in his power to look like an assassin.
Like, I understand why he was doing it, and it's an okay idea, But yeah, in terms of your suspicion, you went to Beatrice and asked her about suspicious ways to kill people, and then you don't actually do what you're telling them you're doing. Instead, you camp out above their mansion with a bird's eye view that you can see directly into like Emilia's room and stuff. It's like you are painting yourself to definitely be an assassin.
Not only that, he does it with a knife, ready. Like you look like you're going to go and kill someone, dude.
So yeah, that happens, and then when Sunset arrives, he hears the chains that he heard in his last life and barely dodges the attack, but is quickly cornered, and then this time he manages to draw out the attacker, and it's revealed to be Rem. And that is the end of that episode, because technically, again, these are 2 episodes in one. So then cutting back to the start of the next episode, we open with Subaru naturally being like, why? Like, this life makes sense why, from our perspective, makes sense why Rem's trying to kill him. But in the past life, it's like, what? Why? You definitely smashed his head in last time. Why?
Assuming it was definitely her. Because we learn at the end of this episode, I assume it's this episode, that
Yes.
It might not have been, well, probably, like, they were concerned about him in his first, like, death. So,
I imagine the first death wasn't, because this is skipping ahead to the end of this episode. So basically, his first death, he died in his sleep. Don't know how. His second death, he was being killed either by poison and then had his head smashed in by a ball and chain, which I'm assuming was Rem. But then at the end of this episode, we see Rem be killed in the same way that Subaru was the first life. So that implies that there is still another attacker.
There is someone cursing someone. But also he has like that memory where it was like he has a flashback memory to when he was his first death, which he didn't know anything about. But he's like, wait a second, I remember them holding my hands and being worried about me. And it's like, okay,
so it wasn't them that cursed me.
It wasn't them that did the cursing.
But yeah, okay. So we've skipped ahead a bit there. But so yeah, naturally Subaru's like, why? And Rem simply states is like, you seem suspicious, so I'm gonna kill you. And it's like, I mean, in this life, fair enough.
Fair enough in this life, definitely. But she also says something along the lines of, there's something about she says something about the witch of envy's power or something, right?
Yeah, it's after she chases him down and like lops off his leg, and Subaru's like, but why, Ram, you were all so nice. And then she actually gets very emotional, which I was a bit shocked at. I was like, Rem, you're usually very calm and collected. What the hell is this? And she starts like shouting and being like, you stink of the witch of envy, I think was the words used. Because later on Beatrice refers to it as a stench of the witch of envy as well. And that's when we get Subaru being like, what does that mean? Which the only answer we get is, you are favoured by the witch of envy, which is like, what does that mean?
I'm assuming it's got something to do with his power of revival.
Oh, almost certainly. But I want to know more about the witch of envy, because everyone keeps it so vague. It's like Voldemort. It's like, ye who shall not be named. It's like, just tell me. Information is vital when fighting this sort of thing.
Well, assuming you're fighting, they're fighting the witch of envy. Who knows what her deal is?
Oh god, yeah, who knows? So yeah, after this, Subaru seems to break a bit. Which, yeah, to be fair, you are literally being tortured for information, and you're also being killed by someone you thought liked you. And then I can't remember if Rem said that Ram was only pretending to be friendly with him. I can't remember if she said that or not, or if Ram was legit being friendly.
I can't remember, to be honest, because even though they've got different colour hair, I get them very confused every time I try and remember which one did what. I'm like, which one wanted to cut his hair but maybe had a little bit of a Subaru crush? Can't remember which one that was. So I'm like, is it this one or is it the other one? So which one was pretending? I can't remember.
It doesn't help that they are twins, it's just a different hair colour, but to be fair, their personalities are quite different, apart from when they're making fun of Subaru. Then they're always on sync, and it's usually pretty funny. But no, yeah. So he breaks a little after possibly being told that Ram was pretending to be friendly with him, and he starts going on about all the things he's learned from them in his past lives. Which naturally Ram's like, I don't remember any of this, and he's like, why don't you remember? Yeah, he basically just breaks and starts screaming at her, being like, fuck you, remember, stop killing me. And eventually Rem just has enough of the shit, I imagine, and slits her throat.
At least it was a decently quick end after that horrific leg loss.
After the brief bit of torture and interrogation. And to be fair, naturally, this time when he wakes up, as soon as he sees Rem and Ram, he starts screaming bloody murder.
He freaks out and then gets real depressed. Depressed.
Amelia comes in late. We cut to later when Amelia's there. She's like, Rem and Ram were very scared. They were worried if they did something to offend you. And he's just like, no, it's fine. They did nothing. We're just sat there like, we know. It's okay, Subaru.
Your innocent character also tries out what I say he should do and tell someone about his power.
Yeah, he did. He was sat there like, I've been going on alone this whole time. I might as well tell someone. And this is where we get the thing which I've been trying to not reveal before, because when you mentioned previously, you were like, you should try and tell someone. I was like, yeah, about that. And then this happens. So yeah, Subaru tries to tell Amelia about his power, and then time seems to freeze for a bit. And then some like weird magical energy surrounds him, and like a weird magic hand comes out of it. I'm not describing it very well, but and basically
would the magic
kind
hand
of crushes
kill him?
his chest.
It didn't this time, but would it kill him?
I don't know. I don't know if it would just like kill him and reset. I don't know if it would just kill him outright. All we know is it put him in a shit ton of pain this time around. Because it basically like grabs his chest and like starts to contract, and I'm assuming it didn't break his bones because we didn't see him like being healed afterwards, but he kind of like basically starts having like a mini heart attack, and Amelia's like, are you okay? And Subaru's like, shit. So I can't tell anyone. But no, I don't know what the consequences would be if he were to tell someone all the way through, because he like starts and then this interrupts it, so he doesn't continue naturally, because, you know, after experiencing a mini heart attack, I wouldn't continue either.
Oh yeah, no, if I saw a ghost hand trying to squeeze my heart to death, I'd stop talking. I don't know, I'm good. I'll stop.
So yeah, after that, he gets even more depressed and just says to Amelia, it's like, just don't have anything to do with me, and he just sits in a bed for the next 4 days. In this life, Subaru seems pretty fucking lifeless, and Amelia and Puck tell Beatrice to go check up on him because they think she might have accidentally done something when she did the mana drain the first time, and this is when she too is like, you stench of the Witch of Envy, and this way we get the, what the fuck does that mean? You're favoured by her. Oh, great. What the fuck does that mean? But yeah, so he stinks of it, but no one knows why, and then Subaru manages to he basically guilt trips her into protecting him, because I like that little exchange as well, because basically we've seen previously that Beatrice really likes Puck and they really like spending time together and having fun, and his response to Beatrice about to leave the room is like, if you leave now I'm going to tell Puck. She's like, fuck, fine, I'll listen to what you have to say. A cute little exchange, and yeah, he convinces her to basically ensure his safety until the 5th morning, which, yeah, no, makes sense. I might have asked for protection a bit longer than that, but
I'd have been like, hey, protect me for the rest of my life. She seemed pretty amenable to the idea.
I mean, technically that is what she did anyway, but we'll get to that. So yeah, he asked for protection to the 5th day. She agrees and seems to make like, I don't know if it was just like their method of like doing a very formal promise, or if she actually like did some sort of magical contract, but either way, she makes the promise with him, and on the 4th night he wakes up in the Forbidden Library with Beatrice and spends the night there just, you know, reading. And at one point she gets called away, which at this point in time we assume it's still the night time, so Subaru's naturally kind of like, please don't leave. Fuck.
I'd also be freaking.
Yeah, just a tad. So yeah, she leaves, and then he like goes to the door, and I'm like, Subaru, this is a terrible idea. Don't open that door. Because again, I've seen the show before, but I can't remember every little thing that happens. So at this point in time, I'm just like, don't open that. Don't do it.
I assume that was probably where he's going to get reset again this time.
That's what I assumed as well. But then he opens the door, and to be fair, they must be doing it well, because again, we were assuming he was going to be murdered, but he opens the door very hesitantly after freaking out a few times, and then you see the sunshine glowing on his face, and you're kind of there with him when he's like, I made it. I made it. I'm still sat there at the edge of my seat like, Subaru, something's going to kill you any second now. I'm waiting for it.
I mean, I was sat there thinking, please someone kill him. I don't want this to be the prime timeline. I don't want Depression timeline to be the prime timeline.
But yeah, no, so he sees that he's made it to the 5th morning, and initially he's very happy, and Amelia comes along and kind of has like an look on her face, and then eventually you see she's quite upset, and Subaru's like, what did I miss? And then we hear a hell of a shriek, like, credit to that voice actress, in the sub at least. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck?
It was piercing.
So yeah, they go to the source of it, and it's Ram. And as I mentioned before, we see that Rem has died this time around, and Roswell mentions that it's like she died of weakness in her sleep, which is what Subaru's been assuming he died of the first time round, which Beatrice also explained was like the potential curse or mana draining method. And naturally, they all start turning their eyes to Subaru, being like, so, you're new here. Do you know anything about this? And Subaru does not really help him his own case, because he's very shifty about it, which is a natural reaction, but at the same time, it's like, you should play this off a bit cooler if you don't want to be killed right now.
If you don't want to be tortured for information about the recent assassination, fess up or look better.
But no, yeah, basically Subaru's really shifty, which, again, kind of a natural reaction. And eventually Roswell's like, normally I wouldn't want to do this, but I'm a bit peeved right now that one of my assistants has just died. So he turns on Subaru, and then Ram's like, you know something. If you know something, tell us. And Amelia steps in and is like, I still trust Subaru, which I do like that she keeps that up, because she's like, he's helped me out, saved my life multiple times over. And
this situation in general ramps up to 100 very quickly.
Oh, it does. It
So,
does.
this is where I was like, oh yeah, no, this is not the prime timeline. Evidently, something's good. He might not die, but something's going to happen that's going to reset him here, like at some point soon. Because everybody just starts nuking each other in this room to the point where like there's fire billowing out of the door. I'm like, okay, not the prime timeline.
Yep. To quickly get where Chris was mentioning, basically Ram launches an attack at Subaru, and then Beatrice steps in and is like, I made a promise, I'm not going to let you do that. And then Roswell turns, and then, the fireball ensues, and Subaru runs off, and Amelia's like, wait, what? Because this is, at this point, Amelia's turned to him and been like, you know nothing about this, right? If you do, please say. And Subaru just runs off without saying anything, and she's like, what? And then the fireball ensues, and he runs off into the forest, and it's like, oh boy, you have balls this up royally, Subaru.
Yeah, this life, gone. Useless. Write it off. Jump off the cliff.
Which he does attempt to do. He runs through the forest, gets to the cliff face, tries to jump off, but he can't bring himself to do it. Beatrice then appears and is like, hey, there you are. I've been looking for you. We didn't actually specify a date that I wouldn't protect you, so technically this is indefinite, so you come with me, I'll get you out of here. You can't explain this to them now, you fucked that up royally when you ran off. Which, she has the right reaction there.
Yeah. I mean, she is at least a little bit fond of him. She's like, I don't want to see you die. So
yeah, I like that.
I'm gonna smuggle you out of this country.
And then this is when, as Chris also mentioned before, Subaru has his realization. After thinking things over a bit more, he's like, hang on. Rem and Ram can't completely hate me, because they were holding my hand in like the first life after I died, obviously. Because he was like freaking out in his sleep, having a nightmare, and he felt like someone holding his hands. And then he sort of has a realization like, shit, okay, they don't hate me. And then Ram arrives and is like, I'm gonna kill you now, you little shit. And Beatrice goes to move to protect him, and I also enjoyed this a bit where Subaru went back to his normal self and just like pulled Beatrice's hair. Was like, well, that was worth it before I die.
Yeah, he realised what he had to do, which was jump off that cliff, and he was like, fuck it, I'm back to 100% Subaru weirdness, let's go.
Yep, basically Subaru's just like, yep, nope, I'm going back to normal now. Pulls her hair, like, needed to do that before I die. Then he formally apologizes to Ram, and Ram's like, you can't apologize for what you've done. And it's just like, hey, but you won't get it now, you will later. And he runs off the cliff.
I like how he's. Oh, what was it? He was like. She was like. Then tell me what happened. He was like, I genuinely have no clue what's going on. But I'm just gonna peace out now.
I loved that bit as well. It's like, tell me what happened, and if you're sorry, it's like, I don't have a fucking clue, but I will figure it out.
I genuinely have no idea.
It's just how absolute about it. He's just like, nope, I have no clue. I'm sorry. I will try and figure it out. And Ram's naturally like, well, that does me no good now. Rem's already dead. He's like, yeah.
I do like this whole sequence of him coming to the realization that because he could survive, he could have run off with what's Beatrice, but he's like, I like these people. They're my friends. They don't hate me. I'm going to use my power for good and try and save them. Whereas like it's like a refresh for the character. He's like figured out what he wants to do with his new profound powers.
Hence why I imagine this episode originally was called, because after he jumps off the cliff, you get the episode title, which is called Subaru's Restart. Which, and that brings us to the end of that episode of ReZero. So what did you think of this week's episode of ReZero?
I mean, there's one thing we didn't quite mention, which is a lot of tension in these two episodes is like derived from him not knowing if he can live beyond his fourth death. That's why he's like really like
he was on edge very much this time around.
Yeah, he didn't want to die this time around because he didn't know if he could survive beyond that. Well, it's fair enough, I guess, because you've never really tested it that far. But it was just a weird place to draw tension from for me, because I'm like, I know in myself and in my head that obviously like his power goes beyond that. So like, it's a bit of a weird point to draw attention from. But other than that, I really like these episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair enough assumption on his part, because even if you have the ability to return back from the dead, it's like, I wouldn't want to test its limits. Let's use it as little as possible. So I can understand it, but yeah, I also agree with you, where it's just like, well, even if he does die, I doubt the show's going to end episode 4.
It's not like a character motivation problem. It's more like a meta point for like the viewer. You're watching it and he's like, oh shit, I'm going to die if I die on this day. I'm like, you're not. And that's like it's a story problem more with like how they wrote these episodes than with character motivation.
But no, I completely agree with you, because I mean, hell, I completely forgot about it. I forgot that was one of the key things this time around. I was just too focused on everything else really, because naturally he's still trying to figure all this out anyway.
It was the one mildly negative. And it wasn't even that negative. It was a plot point that I didn't quite gel with. But other than that, I really like the characters, and that's where the show like kind of at the end of the day, I don't really care about the Witch of Envy or the dragon that lives in a waterfall. Not yet, at any rate. The world seems a little generic fantasy, but I really like the characters and their interactions. That's where I draw a lot of my fun from with the show.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I definitely want to know more about the Witch of Envy. I don't know if that's just because I've already seen the whole season and I'm remembering something I shouldn't, but I'm just like, I want to know about Subaru, because his circumstance definitely seems a bit weird. And especially since other people keep bringing it up as well, being like, you stink of the Witch of Envy. I'm like, I want to know more, but you keep denying me.
I'm happy for the show to pursue that, but it's more the character interactions along the way that I'm going to enjoy, you know?
Oh, most definitely. So far up to this point, all the character interactions have been fantastic. Like I love the comedy in the show. The character interactions range from adorable to horrific, depending on the scene. Like, watch when you see Rem torturing Subaru, it's like, this is depressing, and also fucking hell.
It can do tension and action just as well as it can do comedy. Which is,
like, 2 episodes ago, those two had like a really nice moment between the two, and I'm like, how did you go from that to this? God damn, and it works as well. Like, I don't feel like it's out of place. But no, yeah, so this is the one thing I always look forward to every week, because the order of which I watch and note these shows, we go from No Gun's Life to ReZero, and ReZero is always like that, it's a nice finish to the week. If I had to finish on No Gun's Life,
It's structured a bit like a roller coaster. You start at the top, you dip down real fast, like passing Darwin's game on the way, and then you shoot back up at the end for
you finish on a high note
for ReZero.
Okay, so that wraps up our thoughts on episode 4 of ReZero, the director's cut. So, the only thing left to do now really is the summary. So, overall rankings for our shows this week. I imagine it's very similar, / maybe changed a bit. We shall see. Go on, Krista.
My
Worst to
least
best.
favorite. My least favorite is, well, it's quite obviously No Gun's Life.
Shocker.
It's like mildly negatively meh. I'd give it like a C- if I had to give it a score in the grading system.
And again, we don't hate the show, so if you do like it, tell us why, because we want to know if we're missing something here.
Next up is Darwin's Game. I like the show, and it's just very generic. That's like a C+. It's like a whole grade away from the other one in my mind, I guess. But it's fine. It's fun. It's just very generic, and tends to purge itself. Next up, I will give it to Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun in the second spot because I really like Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun, but it's more about the strength of ReZero this week than the weakness of Toilet Bound, and that would be my order with ReZero in first place.
All right, a switch around in Chris's order, and for me, mine will be that exact same order because, well, that's been my order every week so far. Anyway, like I love Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. But I still have that nostalgic. I guess it's kind of cheating, but I have that nostalgic value with ReZero. But it's also kind of more up my speed because as much as I enjoy talking about Hanako-Kun and their fun, wacky adventures in a haunted school with ghosts and exorcists and such, the fantasy isekai genre is definitely more up my street. But Toilet Bound is also a very, very close second because again, that's a show that's character driven. But especially this week with how depressing it was. I've just remembered how depressing it was. Oh boy,
it was a depressing week all round.
Yeah.
Well, apart from I guess Darwin's Game. Darwin's Game wasn't that depressing.
I mean, Darwin's Game and No Gun's Life weren't really depressing. They were just both meh. But in terms of ReZero and Toilet Bound, it was like, oh boy. At least we got end on a high note with Subaru's and ReZero. But Toilet Bound was just like
Subaru's the extreme high point of Subaru's suicide. It's very uplifting, that one.
Hey, I mean, when you at least think you can come back from the dead, go out on a high note. Do what he did. But okay then, so that's our rankings for this week. Hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you've all finished whatever chores or drives or whatever the hell you were doing while listening to us for 2 hours whilst you're all stuck in quarantine. If you've seen these shows and you have different opinions to us, please tell us why below. Again, don't be pricks about it, please. Just like, for example, again, with not Darwin's Game. Well, I mean, technically we can include Darwin's Game in that. If you really love Darwin's Game or No Gun's Life, tell us why. We want to know why.
Darwin's Game I can see a bit more than No Gun's Life, personally speaking. It's like, it's enjoyable in its genericness, whereas I just don't really enjoy No Gun's Life that much.
Yeah, and if you don't enjoy ReZero Toilet Bound, also tell us why. I mean, it might just be a genre preference, like with us and noir. We're not too huge fans of noir, so that's probably one of the reasons why No Gun's Life is so low. So hope you've all enjoyed. That'll be us for this week. Next week we should return as normal at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, and I can safely say this test has been successful because Discord has not fucked up once. I'll be using Adobe Audition from now on, I think, to do all my audio recordings.
There's definitely some sort of interaction between those two pieces of software. Wonder what it was.
I'm also curious, but Googling did not help at all. If any of you have had experience with this sort of thing, also please let us know, because I'd love to know why. Because Audacity, it's a decent free program. We've been using it for years to do our audio recordings. I'm only trying out Audition now because I have all the Adobe software anyway, so I just thought I'd try it out as an alternative, and it's a pretty nice alternative, to be fair. All the bells and whistles. And no, this is not sponsored. But yes, that'll be us for this week. So thank you very much all for joining us. We'll be back next week, Friday at 6 o'clock, the usual time, with the same shows, same number of episodes. And that'll be the penultimate episode for most of these episodes, because then there's only 2 weeks left for some of these shows, and then we shall be making our next selection. So if you have suggestions, put them down below in the comments as well, and we will probably get to those anime at some point if we like the look of them, because we do generally try to pick shows that we think we'll be interested in. Occasionally we'll go out of our comfort zone, though, like with Kuroko's Basketball or Code Geass, and it'll turn out pretty well.
It's turned out well so far.
So yes, That is all, and see you next week. Mata raishu, minasan.
Sayonara, Tamagotchi.
Hey, you got it.
I've got to really try hard not to say Tamagotchi.
And cut.